Hello, hello. Ahmed. Hello, hello. Ahmed, can you hear me? Ahmed.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can clearly, loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how this Zoom works. I have a cell phone app. I never had the desktop app.
That's okay. You can keep it like that. Okay, we have some people. We have Shri joining in.
Hello, Shri, Rohan. Who else we got?
I think this is some other Rohan. This is not Rohan Khanna. He
Okay.
writes his full name. I think he will be joining us. I guess Rohan Khanna will be joining us.
What's up, Ahmed? What's up, Nav?
How's it going?
Shri, good. Shri, good.
It's lovely outside today.
Yeah, looks good, Ahmed. Pretty good.
Yeah, maybe I'll show you guys my plant. I have a very personal plant that I've been taking care of.
Shri, Ahmed, you might want to clean your camera, the lens of your front camera.
Is it like foggy? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yes.
Hold on.
Much
Is that
better.
I hope so.
Much better.
I think it's my laptop screen. My laptop is super old.
Yeah. So let's begin the session. If you are ready.
I'm ready. Yeah.
All right. Ahmed, I want you to keep your mics on mute while somebody else is speaking. We'll be discussing that. I have muted your mic as of now, but you want me to control it? I can do it. Okay, I'll do it. So, welcome everyone to episode 6 of Cinelogy. Today we have with us our very own, our special guest, Ahmed Nazim, all the way from Maryland, Baltimore, United States of America. Say hi. Hello, Ahmed. This is Ahmed Nazim from Maryland, Baltimore's joining us. Today we're going to be talking about the basics to advance in cinematography. So pretty straightforward topic. We'll be discussing in detail about the terms used in cinematography, in professional cinematography, and it stays the same for a small film set to a very, very large film set. We have taken multiple inspirations from various places all over the internet. If you want, we can share some links with you to get a very detailed synopsis of whatever we speak. So if you guys want to check out some links, some videos, we will be posting that in the chat box down below. But first, let me introduce Ahmed Nazim to you. He has been living in Maryland for a long time. His family belongs from Pakistan, but they have been living in Baltimore and Maryland for a very, very long time now. He has been an enthusiast filmmaker before. He used to just pick up cameras and start shooting, but now going into New York Film Academy as a cinematographer, doing the cinematography course, he has transitioned his way towards filmmaking, worked on various film sets from small to large, you name it. Has also worked on some series, some episodes of various series, which will be actually coming out soon. Ahmed will be also sharing links to us about that, some information about that after the main session, the main topics of today. So Ahmed, how is it in Maryland? How is it in Baltimore? I'll unmute you. Hold on. Yes, now.
It's pretty nice. I mean, obviously, it's not as bad as New York, but it's everyone's home, safe.
Yeah.
That's how it is. But I mean, obviously there's no work during this time.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that this is, you're actually doing this.
Thank you, dude. think we have some issues with
for everyone, and for me too.
Yeah, Ahmed.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I think we are having some issues with your internet. I'm getting all of it perfectly fine. I can see myself too. Um, but I think there's some problem with your internet. I hope it stays on during the session. All right. I hope you're staying safe. Everyone is safe, your family, and take good care of yourselves and themselves. All right, we'll start with our session for today. Emma, do you want me to share my desktop, or what do you want to do for the presentation?
Wait. Yeah. Just go ahead. You do it.
Okay. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Don't worry. Let me do it. So today's topic, as you guys all know, is going to be cinematography from basics to advanced. I highly recommend everyone to keep a notebook and a pen with them because there's going to be a lot of detail to note down today. Even experienced cinematographers, photographers, anyone who's still experienced, who's joining in, I would recommend do keep a pencil and a notebook in your hand because I think Ahmed came up with all this information through a lot of research actually. It was a lot of research. So if you guys want to take some advantage of that research, definitely keep a notebook and a pen in your hand. Ahmed, I'll be sharing the screen now.
Okay.
So let's start with cinematography from basics to advanced. Emma, do you want to show that chart of the crew breakdown and then jump into the details?
Yeah. Actually, how do you share the screen? Because it'd be better maybe by controller.
Okay. Do you see a toolbar? Let me stop my screen. And do you see a toolbar at the very bottom?
Toolbar.
Yeah, like which shows a mute button, a security button, participants button. Can you find that?
No, I see the mic, and then it says like stop video, and it just I don't see the toolbar. There's participants, chat, share screen.
Yeah, that's
record,
what you have
reaction.
to do. That's what you have to do. Go to share
There
screen.
you go, share screen.
Yeah, it gives you options and select your browser. Once you do that, and the browser will be on full screen.
Wait, hold on. Let me pull up the slides actually.
Yeah, pull up the slides and make them full screen.
Is it? Can you guys see it?
You have to share your screen first through Zoom. You have to click on it.
Yeah. I'm potato at technology. There you go. It says host disabled attendee screen sharing.
I don't know, dude. I have enabled everything. If I want to change a setting, I would have to go back to my browser and do that. But let's not waste time. Let me share my screen, all right? Emmett, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you see the
you.
screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's show them the chart from the very top. Okay. From the very top. This, guys, is a usual breakdown of crew positions, the chain of command. As you can see, executive producer, the money man is right on top. Then comes the director on one side, then the producer has a production team on the other side. We'll be discussing just the camera part that you guys see over here, the camera grip in the electric department. That's what we're going to discuss. Over to Emmett. You want to start with this first?
So, cinematographer, basically, head of all the technical, I want to say, departments, such as lighting, gripping, camera, and also cinematographer works in extension with the art department. And the description says, it's the director's, either like you're fulfilling the vision or you're like enhancing the director's vision. That's like the goal for a cinematographer. But I'll just read it, for you guys. Cinematographer is the chief over the camera, lighting crews working on a film, TV production, or other live action pieces, and is responsible for making artistic, technical decisions related to image fulfilling, enhancing vision of director. The study and this practice of this field is referred as cinematography. So
Basic.
that's like
that's the basic definition of who
basics
a
of it.
cinematographer is. All right. So we will break down the entire crew of a cinematographer. But before that, Ahmed would love to break down, the whole crew into different departments. Here they are.
So I mean, this is kind of the usual credits, and like you want to work in the hierarchy to it. I don't think this is the hierarchy, but it's like these are the departments that you're kind of dealing with as a cinematographer. So we got, these are the credits. Let's go to the slide where let's go to the main slide.
Which shows cinematography.
Yeah.
The cinematography crew breakdown. Yeah. Before that, you want to elaborate on these and how each one of these, especially even in a small film set, all of these are pretty important. And just guys, each one of these will be elaborated in individual sessions by the other guest we'll be having. Like Piyush will be coming in and telling you guys about the production crew. As you see, point number 7 says produced by. So there are a lot of a lot of crew that goes into production also. Piyush will be breaking that down. We'll be having other people coming in to break down each one of that. But you would just want to give it a nice read.
Yeah, yeah. So directed by, of course, it's the director, and then we have the lead cast, which comes like actors, main role, like leading actor, leading actress or so. Additional cast and support, so it could be like supporting, not supporting, but I want to say more
background actors.
Background, or like anything that's like non-lead. So let's just say that. Casting by, it's like casting director is a person who finds the right people who fits to the film or so, like they find the right actors or so that will be perfect for the film. Location department is the person who's in charge of like location scout or so. And I want to say one thing about like location scout, like it's like that's like your, as a cinematographer, like you need to be working very closely in pre-production with like location department.
Yeah.
Just because you want to be prepared where how the location is, and like where you're gonna set up the lights, and just work with them a lot in pre-prep. Okay, and then we got the screenplays. Obviously the person who wrote. Produced by producers. We got like executives, associate line, co-producers, cinematography, DOP, the crew.
That's what we are going to talk about today.
That's the main thing we're going to be discussing. Then we're also going to touch on production design, but just like as what cinematographer role is with a relationship is perhaps with the production design, our team, and set design, costume. Then we're gonna touch also on makeup. I don't know.
I mean, not much, but a cinematographer should know what kind of makeup is being done on the actors.
Yeah. So there's makeup, and then there's production management. Basically, like like production management, kind of like overseeing that everything is like running smoothly. Whether it's like crafties or whatever they have to provide or so to make the product the shoot go very smooth. Obviously in charge of sound and everything. That sound department is also like they're in charge of like whatever, like during the production and like post production, so they take care of it. Then we got VFX guys, special effects, stunt, you know, if there's stunts or so, like,
Mhm.
and editorial and edit by, so this editors,
Yeah.
basically.
Mhm.
So mainly we're
I
going to be
mean,
talking about,
is
yeah,
cinematography obviously, but a person on set must know what else is happening on set, who else is in like different departments. A person working
yeah,
on sets should know that. These are some other crews. If somebody wants to write that down, they can do it. If somebody wants to take a screenshot of all these other departments and other crews on set, they can take a screenshot. Feel free to do that. And if you miss out on all this, there is going to be a video that is going to be uploaded on the Cinelogy YouTube channel anyways. So Ahmed, let's jump from this and let's dive into the cinematography departments.
yeah. So cinematography department, it's more like, okay, so we got the main departments, which is camera department, lighting department, grip department, DIT department, and sound. And then the art department's like extension. So it's, and I want to say extension because it's like not the whole department's like working with art, but it's mainly like, like cinematographer and gaffer, I would say, like who's like, more involved in like art department. And they're basically kind of like coming up with the plan, like, um, how to shoot, or, what looks good on camera, color schemes or such. So we're gonna touch bases on that too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we're gonna start off with the camera department. So
All
let's
right.
do that. If you guys feel like I'm going really fast, just let me know. I can slow down.
Yeah. If you can just give one-line explanations to each positions. I mean, it's already on the screen, but explain it from your side, just to a layman,
Yeah.
what these people do individually.
So I mean, we already talked about what cinematographer is. Basically, like, he's the guy who's in charge of bringing director's vision or whatever client that he has.
Uh,
He's in charge, whether it's like
uh,
technical or
Ahmed,
emotional or so.
is cinematographer head of just the camera department or the whole cinematography department?
He's the head of whole cinematography department. So he's on hierarchy, like, on the department of, he's probably the main guy that you want to talk to. Like, um, obviously, like, he comes under director and everything, but in cinematography department, like, he's the head of everyone. So yeah, and then we have camera operators. Camera operators in charge of operating the cameras. They're I want to say they're also like camera operators. They're also camera technicians. So they need to know, like, the cameras, like what their operating is. So they need to know the camera, like, religiously, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they need to know.
Ahmed,
And the
can a
same thing goes.
cinematographer also be the camera operator on a set?
Yeah, I mean, so see, I've it's really up to the cinematographer, because like I've been on shoots where, cinematographer who he doesn't want to touch the camera, like he just wants to, like, because he wants to kind of be like relaxed, and like, there's just so much responsibility on him that
Yeah.
he wants to just sit back and like just let other people do it.
Yeah, in
Um,
bigger sets, usually the DOP is also sitting along with the director, anyways.
yeah,
Yeah.
but well, I mean, a lot of, like, majority of, cinematographers, I would say, they like doing some camera work, like, maybe not for the whole thing, but they would jump on as a camera operator. I personally, well, I used to like love like operating my own camera. Just really wanted me to operate, and that kind of like was taken back from me. And but then I actually like realized that there's so much stuff that I'm focusing on, and like it helps me focus on other things like lighting or so, and I could be very precise, because I'm not, my attention is not on the camera, like it's
Mhm.
everywhere. So
Yeah.
yeah. So definitely, like, it's up to cinematographer whether they want to be a camera operator or not. It's up to them. So can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Perfectly fine. I mean,
Okay.
you went off for a little bit, but you came back.
Yeah. Okay. So then we have the camera assistants. First AC, second ACs or so. So first, we're gonna talk about first ACs first. I would say same thing. Like for first AC, like they need to know cameras better than cinematographers. Like
Mm.
they are like the manual book
Yeah.
for the camera. Like they need to whatever it is, because you never know like what goes wrong in the shoot, and they need to be able to like fix it on spot.
Yeah.
So besides that, they're also like sometimes they're also pulling focus. Um, so I want to
Yeah,
say
we'll
like
get to the details in the upcoming slides, but
yeah
for sure.
yeah for the ACs, like I mean personally, like okay, a lot of indie shoots, like a small budget shoot, like first ACs is a focus puller, and but I highly doubt they are like in bigger sets. There's like a separate person who's pulling focus,
Yeah.
and then we got the second ACs. Second ACs are in charge of like they're clappers, loading the camera. If you're shooting on film, they set the T mark. So sometimes second ACs would have like a PA like doing taking notes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah. Second AC is tough. It's a lot of work. I've been there a lot of times. Okay, and then we got film loaders. So film loaders are basically loading the film. They're making sure the mag is ready. So as soon as you're finished on one magazine, there's like ready. There's the next magazine like it's ready to go, and then
Yeah.
you can like put it on.
Ahmed, sorry to interrupt you. I think there are a couple of questions being posted now. You want to have a look at it now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Wait,
Thank you so much, Ray.
how do you look at the question? Hold
Rajveer, you want to open the chat box in front of you too?
on. Oh,
So
okay.
let me read it out for you. Is the director of photography and the cinematographer the same thing? Rajveer, good question, but the next slide actually answers your question. So just hold on for the next 30 seconds, I'll say. Stina asked, what is the difference between a camera operator and a cinematographer? Stina, that question will also be included in the next slides, upcoming slides. Rohan Khanna is here with us. Rohan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Rohan.
So Emma,
So
you want to go through this list and let's move on to the
yeah.
detail.
Wait. So let me just answer this question. Difference between camera operator is he's not in charge of like artistically, or like he's not in charge like technical decisions or so.
Mm-hmm.
He's just operating the camera. So he's if you want the camera to go from point A to point B, his job is to do that, go from point A to point B, have the whatever, what's it called, the frame that you have set, like they're in charge of like keeping that frame. And there's times like I mean, camera operator can do like go and do like but it's definitely like something that needs to be discussed by a cinematographer,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to kind of like take over the role for cinematographer as a camera operator. You're trying to bring the vision of the cinematographer and director, and camera operators. I can go in so much detail on camera operators, but
You want to move on?
yeah, I mean, yeah, but I'm gonna say one thing, like, yeah. So difference between it is that cinematographer is the head and he's making decisions on like what angles or so, and camera operator is just
Mm-hmm.
operating the camera and like listening to CP, I would say.
All right. We were on the 6th point
Oh, we were,
in
yeah.
camera department.
So DIT, DIT are responsible for like making sure that your footage is backed up. Very important role. You know, and
We know that.
Just
We
bring back
know that,
memories.
You wanna
Yeah,
tell the
so
story? You wanna tell the story?
So we were, you know,
It was actually both
one
of
of the,
us. Were
yeah, it
you
was a
directing?
production workshop. Yeah, I was directing and you were the DP.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was also a DIT. So, you know, I was kind of taking, so we did the whole shoot and, you know, I don't know, at one point I forgot to like back up one of the cards. And yeah, it was just a mess. Like I mean, we still like, you know, ended up with something pretty good, but yeah, it would have been better if we had the camera. I think we were using one camera or two cameras. We were using
We
one
were
camera,
using
right?
one camera, but when we switched to a different side, we lost the footage of
Yeah, so
the second card, I guess.
yeah, so we only had like one side. So we were supposed
One
to have like,
side,
you know,
yeah.
coverage. We are supposed to have two coverage, but it's like the footage that we got was only from like one side. And yeah, that was heartbreaking.
Guys, if you're new to this symbol, we'll be explaining that later. How about that, Emma?
Oh yeah, this. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
this.
yeah.
You wanna do that now, or you wanna
Yeah,
do
I
that
can do
later?
it. Yeah, so it's like it's actually like okay, I want the camera angle over here. So
Yeah, the
it's
field
an
of
angle
view,
like
the
the
field of view of the
view.
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why like you have like, you know, if you want to, you know, if I want to cover you guys right here, so like I could have like cover from here, you know, two coverage,
Mhm.
you know, get the full
Yeah.
perspective.
So similarly, if I want over the head shot and the director
Yeah.
is standing at the actor's position, he can be like, I want a camera from here, from here, from here. So this is the symbol that usually the director or the DP uses.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty simple. So 7th point will be Steadicam, glide
Steadicam.
cam. Yeah.
So I would say this ties in with the camera operators, but the Steadicam and glide cam, they have like, you know, like a special rig that they have, you know, it attaches to their vest, and you know they can walk around, run with it, and it keeps the camera very stable. And I'm sure like you know, probably the pictures, you know, that Nav put it up for me, you know, I was actually using the Steadicam on that, but it's yeah, it's that, you know, big like machine gun looking thing attached to you, like you just hold it. Yeah, Steadicam operators, you know, it's just they come in play when, let's say, like, you know, this certain scene, or, you know, requires a very stable, or not stable, but like, you know, it requires like something that Dolly can't do. Like maybe you're going through like an alley that's like super narrow.
This over here is a Steadicam.
Yeah, and you cannot fit, you know, like a doorway dolly or Dana dolly, and you know, then you know you want to use cam, and you know, let's say like the guy like running and he's running for a while, and you want to get that very smooth, and you kind of want to run with him. So maybe, you know, you can use Steadicam. It's just basically like want to say like, I'm trying to like find like the right words difference between the dolly and the, it just like, it just keeps everything very stable, you know. You can go downstairs with it, like it just like, there's, you know, you can do parkour with it, like that's how that's how Steadicam is. Yeah, and I'm sure like, you know, like, you know, I mean, I barely do like Steadicam, or so like I've done like maybe once, and but you know, it's the Steadicam, it's yeah, it's a lot of work. Like it's a lot of work on your back. Like physically, it's very demanding. works.
Let's talk about the underpaid people, which are production assistants.
Sorry, I got bugs over here. um, so we got PAs, camera PAs. These, PA production assistants.
Underpaid people. Underpaid people.
Yeah, and they're usually there for like learning experience, and they want to jump into like film, um, and they want to learn, or they want to be like go towards like specific departments. So they could be like an art PA, they could be like camera PAs or so, and these guys basically like helping out whatever they can, like I would say things that you don't want to think about, like you want someone else to take care, are PAs. Dude, PAs are amazing. Like they come in so handy, and they like I love PAs. Um, it's just because like when you're shooting, you don't want to be like taking a break and going and getting the water when there's like a scene, like a really long scene going on. So it's things like that, and I don't want to just say like oh, they're just bringing water. So they do so much more than that. Um, and it's just a task that's not
It can be moving tripod from one position to another,
yeah,
moving
and the
camera,
cameras
staying
as
with the
well.
camera, staying with the camera.
Yeah,
If there's no attendee staying with the camera, that can be a case.
yeah. So is there any questions for the previous slide before I
Oh, you want to
kind
go
of jump
there?
on this one? No, I'm just saying, like, if there's any question, because I don't see the.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh no, no, okay.
we'll be getting in detail to the questions for
Okay,
sure.
so
Guys, make sure you're noting this down or taking some screenshots of this, because this is some, this is some information over here. The additional camera department, Emma, these camera departments might be for a uh, big budget production, not
yeah,
usually.
definitely. Like these are the like so basically, like, I mean, small productions, there's one man could be wearing multiple hats, and like but the bigger the sets get, like every single thing, like, could be the smallest thing, but but it has like the other person do it,
Yeah.
just so like it flows. That's why, like, big production, they flow so smoothly, because you want to be on,
There's a
like,
person for each job that you want to do.
yeah,
Like
um
if you can see point number 6 there, I've seen LUT managers as a credit, um, in the, I mean, I've seen LUT managers in credits sometimes. So
yeah.
that can be a case too. But you want to elaborate a little bit on these, and then
Yeah.
we'll jump to the next one.
So camera rigging technician, basically, falls into script department. Camera rigging technicians, they're in charge of like rigging the camera, whether you want to rig it like up on a tree or whatever it is, like somewhere like super low or so. They're in charge of like coming up with the plan. That's gonna be safe. Like that's number one thing. Like you want to be safe, and that's um and sturdy for the camera that could hold on. So they're in charge of like rigging cameras, or definitely like I would say like they're in charge of rigging cameras on unusual places. Let's just say that,
Mm-hmm.
where tripods or
I'm
anything
sorry.
jibs cannot reach.
Yeah. Emmett, we lost you.
Wait, go back. Yeah, there you go. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then we have drone crews, and drone crews, they're in charge. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like these guys are the technicians. They know how to fly drones. They're professionals. Like they know whatever shot they desired shot, and they will get it to you. Um, so those drones, and then we got Cam A, Cam B, Cam C units. So these are like, let's say, there's different units, camera units, and so there's times where let's say you're shooting a series and there's some B rolls or so. Camera A unit is the main like unit that's in charge of like getting the main shots. And then like cam C and cam B are, they work parallel with camera A, but then also like they can go like, they could be in charge of like shooting B rolls, outside or so. Yeah, not everything. Like some like shots that are filler shots, I would say.
Mhm.
And that's something like they're in charge of. Um,
I mean,
capturing
A,
as
B, and
well.
C cams can be also responsible for taking some stock footage. Like if
Yeah,
it's a big budget movie, you want to introduce New York for the first 30 seconds or so. They can be
yeah,
the ones who actually go out, take some stock footage of New York,
yeah.
where you don't
Like
actually
those.
send out your main production crew. You can send out like C unit. So you have a C unit ready with a camera operator, ready with a director of photography, ready with maybe if you need a gaffer and a grip. So that can be one unit which you actually send out
Yeah,
with a
yeah,
like DIT, with a camera, with a first AC, and that can
yeah.
happen.
So yeah, definitely though these guys are like, working conjointly with the cam A department.
Hmm.
Then we have the camera, like robot technicians. Um, these these guys are usually like, working in like commercials or so, like product commercials or food commercials. Like, you know, basically those guys, camera robot technicians, they're the DPs on those like commercial sets or so, or like operators, I would say. But yeah, it's like, like literally that cool robot arm that you see like going like places. Um, so they're in charge of that and how to operate it. Dude, I cannot wait to like actually get
Work
a
on
chance.
some, yeah, work
Get a
on some.
chance. um, so yeah, I don't know much about like how do they do it. So I'm like this really like
I mean, that is
in-
why you require a special crew to do it, because not
yeah,
everyone can actually map out positions. And a DP can actually think about the shots that he needs in his or her own head. But getting that shot will be the robot technician's main his it's his job to do that.
yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, the like sorry, I was thinking about camera technicians. um, but yeah, I cannot wait to learn that. If or whenever I get a chance.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, then we have the playback supervisors. So I want to say playback supervisors are also there's other term called dailies. So maybe it's like so let's say like you shoot one day and the next day you want to kind of like play back that footage and like
Hmm.
see know what you shot was good enough or so, like, or if there's you don't need to do what's it called, reshoot or anything like. So I would
Yeah,
say so
I'll
those
say the
guys are.
only reason I'd say the only reasons they have playback supervisors, and because the name itself is a supervisor, can be a case where they don't want to leak out the story elements. If somebody comes up to them and
Yeah,
asks them for footage of like 2 days ago that they want to see
yeah,
again. So these are the guys who actually are responsible for showing the footage, and they might also keep a note of who came to me to see a footage of this shot that was taken on this day with these actors in it. So he
yeah,
or she, the playback supervisor, can actually take a note of like uh, who saw the footage after it was being shot, and it usually is to prevent it's usually to prevent piracy and leaking out the film ideas.
yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, and I would say like 5 and 6, playback supervisor and onset editor. Um, I want to say they all fall into DIT or
Yeah.
um,
So that is why we wrote the DIT department over here. If I just go back, so a DIT department can be one sole
yeah,
crew
department.
by themselves. You know, they
Yeah.
can have their own room with like multiple screens and something like that. They can have their own trailer in a big production set.
Guys, you have a question. Check the question box.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sri. I usually close down that. Stina is asking, as director, can I not tell my cinematographer what length and frame I want for particular scenes? Ahmed.
No, no, you can tell. Like as a director, like if you know exactly what you want, like go for it. Like if you want to use certain lens or certain, whatever it is,
Hmm.
you can definitely tell. And
Yeah.
it's the cinematographer is not like trying to like don't don't bother me, da 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 da. They director and cinematographer they both need to like work together. And like I said before, like cinematographer is his job is to enhance director's vision, like you know
But
um
Ahmed, should a director be so specific about, yeah, you place the camera over here with the height of 4 feet, shoot this way with a 50 millimeter lens, and should he be that specific, or should he be just like, I want a camera of the actor's eye, and that's it? Should he
yeah, I
talk
mean
like the first one? What do you say?
it depends on directors. I mean, I've worked with both type where director he literally like he knew, okay, I want use this lens, I want this shot from like right here, like this close up, and that's how much I want. And then there's also directors like who they tell you roughly, they're like, okay, yeah, I need something like that, or maybe you know they could. So I mean, literally, but it's you you want to listen to director, because
Hmm.
you're bringing his vision or her
Exactly.
vision. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, if the director knows so specific, like to the T, like then yeah, definitely, like they can
Go
tell
for it.
the cinematographer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and so as a cinematographer, you can suggest if something doesn't work, you can suggest it. But if still like director wants that, you know, you provide.
Yeah. Ahmed, let's get through this list and let's speed up. We are running not out of time, but still, it's already been an hour.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah.
shit.
We can
That
talk
goes
about
fast.
this for a whole day.
Yeah. So where were we? We were on the onset editor. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So onset editor, their job is to like make like a rough edit that that we can play back next day or so. Just so like you want to be in like you want to see like things are going smoothly, um
Mhm.
or you are staying true to the script, like or it's like cutting the right way, you know.
Yeah.
So these guys are literally like, or yeah, even like color is true. Like like you can give the footage and they can put some like LUTs on it and color correct it and everything. And like, cause like sometimes like clients they don't know, like they don't know anything. They don't want to. They don't know anything technically or anything. They just want, okay, I want this cut from there, da, 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 okay, but I want to see how it looks. Like,
Hmm.
okay, so it's kind of like a rough, like image that you show it to them. Like, okay, this is not the final, but this is just a rough, um, how it's gonna end up looking. So that's
Okay.
that's what the onset editor is in charge of. So then we have the data manager. Data manager is like naming the shots. He's like organizing
I think we have some problem with Ahmed's internet. Let's hold on for a few seconds. Ahmed,
really good.
yeah,
Okay,
we lost you for a while.
okay. Um, so yeah, data manager, they're organizing, naming shots. Um, they're in charge of that. Um, then we have the video assist engineers, and these guys are basically like, um, I want to say video assist engineers. They're like in charge of um like more like changing file formats or kind of like stuff like those.
Hmm.
Like if you have to like, there's certain file format or so that needs to be like changed into. So these guys are doing those. They're converting files. They're doing those things. Then we have the still photographer, BTS photographers, and these guys are, they're taking pictures on set. They're also working with the script continuity. So let's say like you jump from like one scene to another, and then you have to go back to the previous scene. You need to remember, okay, where did I place my phone? Where did I da da da? So those guys, like before, like everything, when let's say
Everything is taken down, like on a set.
yeah,
The production design
everything
is
is
taken
taken
down.
down, and then but you have to like put it back up again. So they're they should have the photos, and then you can look into them like, okay, I had this candle over here, I had this chair over here. So those guys are also taking pictures of those, and also like I mean, they're just taking like behind the scenes photos and everything. And
Yeah, let's move on to this one now. Coming to describing each member of the camera department.
so I mean, this is yeah. So we already talked about like what the role of DP is and what is DP. Um, I'm just gonna read it again for you guys. Manages camera department, lighting department, electrical grip. They are the chief of camera crew. The film director will tell DP how they want the shoot to look. They will then work with these departments to choose cameras, lenses, filters, shots, compositions, light design, setup, and any necessary gear. And the tools for directors are viewfinder, light meter. Um, yeah. Hold on. I think there's a picture of the light meter or viewfinder, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a picture of a viewfinder. So you want to just give a explanation of what this apparatus does?
So
Emma, can you hear me?
viewfinder. So usually director, have their own kind of like sets of lenses or so, and then they can attach to, or production could have like provide them lenses that they can attach to their viewfinders, and they can look how it's gonna, how's the frame gonna look. So that's a viewfinder. And then we have the light meter. So this is light meter. Just I would say I've never seen like, well, I've never seen director kind of like using light meters. But I'm pretty sure they do. Like it's more the cinematographers and the gaffers. Like they they must have the light meters. You're reading the incident readings, or and everything.
Yeah, we'll
Like,
definitely be discussing about what a light meter is and how
yeah.
the working of it in pretty detailed format with Vivian from a few days now. But these come in various formats.
Yeah.
They used to
And
be
light
analog.
meter, just to kind of like I'm just gonna like basically touch on it. It's it's just reading the how sensitive the light is. And it's just a reading of it. So if it's harsh, it'll you just know exactly what number to dial to. Like, or like if you have like a specific light that you want to do, so you can like dial the light to it.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just a tool that reads light. Like
quantity, I would say.
Yes,
light quantity.
definitely,
Yeah.
Sri. The quantity of light that's falling
Yeah.
on this part of the light meter can be, detected. It is also used by photographers when they're working with light to find out what I'll say, they look for shutter speeds instead of aperture. But for a cinematographer, it can be if he or she already knows what the shutter speed he or she will be shooting in, the ISO of the particular scene or the film, and then
Yeah.
he or she can actually get how many stops of aperture is needed to have a perfect exposure. That can be compensated now by adding in different filters and all that to a matte box or in front of the camera.
Yeah.
We'll be discussing about matte boxes also. You want to jump on the next one?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna read the whole descriptions again, but I'm just gonna like basically touch on it. We talked about the camera operators. You know, a director may assume this decision for certain shots.
Ahmed, I think this line, when a DP is the cameraman, they are typically referred to as cinematographers. This is the answer to, I think, who was asking it?
Yeah, that was the very first question, right? Or the second?
Yeah, I mean, as director of photography and cinematographer, the same thing. Yeah, I mean, the DP, when the DP himself is the cameraman, he is referred to as a cinematographer. But if the DP is, you know, as Emmett told, is a person that, you know, is just controlling the whole crew, and then when it comes to actual take, he's the one who's sitting with the director in front of a viewfinder. Oh, sorry, director's monitor. So, you know,
Yeah.
that is a director of photography.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and you know, don't get me wrong. Like when if the I don't mean like, you know, like if the DP is operating, then he's not taking care of like other things. He's still taking care of other things too, but it's just personal preference, like if they want to jump on camera or not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, and definitely for the tools, like, you know, usually none. Yeah, multi-tool.
Multi-tool is a
multi-tool
must
is a
for
must.
all. Everyone
I
should
think,
carry their own
yeah,
multi-tools.
like I would say like from PAs to like director, even producers. Why not? They just carry your multi-tool.
They should have a multi-tool with them.
Yeah,
Okay, let's get to the next one.
that's the one thing I forgot to bring. I was gonna show you guys some stuff that I have.
Dude, I lost my multi-tool.
Yeah, I had to buy a new one. Yeah. Oh, this is the. Did we
Yeah, we'll
do
be
this
getting
yet?
to this.
No.
The very next slide is about this.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, the first piece, first PC, the first AC. First AC. Yeah, their job is like full focus, change lens. You know, clean the lenses. You know, camera maintenance. Change aperture, white balance. Update dope sheet.
Dope sheet.
Yeah,
It's a
definitely update.
guys. Honestly speaking, we don't use the word dope sheet because you know, in New York Film Academy we were having multicultural environment, and if dope
Oh, it's
sheet
the
would have
camera
been,
reports, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's the camera report, but you know,
Yeah.
we never used to call it dope sheets because
Is that what they're called?
imagine some like Italian guy calling it dope shit or something. Can you give me dope shit?
Yeah, I like that word. Dope sheet.
Dope sheet.
But yeah, you know, they are also like, you know, doing camera reports. So yeah, for them the tools are, you know, there's a lot of tools for first AC actually, like measuring tape. You know, you might have spike tapes, T marks, gloves, pens, follow focus, second display or viewfinder, Allen keys, and multi tools. That, you know, I wanna, yeah. So yeah, that's the AC build. You know, they need to have all these tapes, the colorful tape, gaffer's tape,
Gloves,
the gloves,
pens, a
and
lot of
you know,
pens.
have
Yeah.
markers,
A flashlight
and
too, dude. We missed out the flashlight.
flashlight is must.
Flashlight is a must.
But yeah, first ACs, you know, they, like I say, like they're in charge of like, they're camera technicians, and you know, if they have to, like, if there's something wrong with the camera and they have to open up the camera, they need
Yeah,
to,
they're the
you
ones
know,
to do
be
it.
able to.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, this thing is measuring tape. It's just like, you know, you want to measure, because they're also like pulling focus, so they want to measure the distance between the camera and the subject, and and then helps to pull
Do you want to
focus.
show them your digital tape measure?
Yeah. So
This is how tiny it is.
Yeah, it's super tiny. I don't know if you can, but it just measures like whatever it is. There's like a laser pointer to it. And you point at it, and then it tells you the distance. Like this would be whatever that
10
is.
inches.
Like 10 inches.
10 inches. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you would like, set the focus like accordingly to it. It's also useful when if subject is moving like back and forth, like so you wanna measure. So like point like A being like, okay, this guy is like 10 feet away, and then he comes like 2 feet away, like he's like 2 feet closer. So you want to be able to like rack focus, to the subject. Gaffer tape is a must. I want to say everyone should carry.
A life on set.
Everyone should carry gaffer tape. And
their own gaffer's tape to be exact.
Yeah, and these are very small things like like gaffer's tape, multi-tool or so. But these those things are so handy on set. And
yeah, expandables. Yeah, C47s, expandables. Expandables are essential.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come to C47s when we talk about
so we have like and like the regular black gaffer's tape is is used for for anything, like all purposes. And like these are the special tapes, like these colorful tapes, and they they're used, I want to say, like if you want to mark like different cams or so, like or angles, like. And also like it could be used like, let's say like there's multiple actors and you want to give like specific T marks to each actor.
Yeah, color for each actor.
Yeah, you can differentiate each tape on on each actor. So
yeah,
that's gaffer's tape.
I'll say a gaffer's tape. You cannot just use any tape on set, because you're going to a different location, and if you end up bringing your brown packaging tape or something like that, you might end up leaving some glue marks behind. So these tapes can be essential when you don't want to leave some glue marks behind. These are made out of it's a composite between plastic and some kind of fabric.
It's like a cloth, like
it's like a cloth.
Kind of
do you have a roll? Do you have a roll of gaffer's tape in your hand?
Yeah.
Can you show how easy it is to tear?
Yeah. So actually, let me get the bigger one. It's super sturdy. Like it's like almost like a duct tape, but it's not a duct tape. It's super like easy to rip, and it doesn't leave any like residue or anything when you take it off. So like a lot of people use T marks. They would make quick T marks with the gaffer's tape. Just like this.
This is a black gaffer's tape. White gaffer's tape can be used to put down on the floor and write on it with some kind of a marker or a pen.
Yeah, and also these tapes don't melt if you put it on light, and lights are hot, so other tapes usually tend to melt and like doesn't hold it or like lose the stickiness to it. So these don't really lose the stickiness.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one. And guys, if you end up on set, please don't ask for a gaffer's tape. Bring your own gaffer's tape to each set you go, because it's kind of offensive if a sound guy comes up to you and asks you for gaffer's tape. People in aggression can give them people sometimes can give them like 2 or 3 pieces of gaffer's tape, or maybe a roll to borrow for some time. But usually what happens at the end will that they will get a little angry and just hand over their rolls to you and be like, just keep it, just don't bug me every single time. So make sure you have your own gaffer's tape. Just keep it with you. If you're not even going on set anytime soon, just have few rolls of gaffer's tape, black and white, with you. Let's move on to the next one, shall we?
Yeah. So we got the gloves. Um, definitely important, something that you need to have, especially working as a. Oh, okay. So I was jumping for the grip gloves, but yeah, AC gloves. Like you need to be able to have because you don't want to be holding lens or anything like you want to be protective with the
Hmm.
lenses because these lenses are super expensive.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, you wanna have fingerless gloves, of course. Um, and yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't have like much to say about it. It's just like this gloves that you need to they just come in use. They're
Hmm.
handy. Especially like you don't want to like let's say like you're closing a tripod. So if you don't have gloves, like sometimes like you can get your or whatever it is, like you can get yourself pinched by a
Yeah.
tripod, and that that hurts. So it's just like you're kind of like taking care of yourself. Um, so I would say yeah, adjust lens, touch screens. Yeah, I mean I've not seen like well my favorite AC Ale. She definitely she definitely wears one, and she could explain. She could go like she'll tell you the importance of the gloves
Yeah, she'll be doing
much
that.
better than I can.
She'll be getting into the details of who a system camera is, what all you should know, the safety, the
Yeah,
arrangement, taking care of lenses, how a lens is kept before and after a shoot. You should close the aperture and all that. That Ali will be talking to us about. So let's move on.
so then we have like a follow focus. Um, yeah, it's like autofocus is never used on film, because it, it's it's such a like
It's such a dumb move, and you don't
yeah
want to give the responsibility of focusing to the camera.
yeah. Um,
Hmm.
so like you want to be in charge of like where the focus and everything is, because I mean you wanna be like you wanna be in charge of like okay where the audience needs to see, like you don't want to be
Yeah.
like leaving that on camera and like where the audience sees. You want to be in charge of it. So yeah, like then we have like wireless follow focus. There's also like the whip follow focus.
Yeah.
Um, and
The whip
it's
app,
just
guys, if you don't know, the whip actually attaches to this square mark that you see over here. Can you see my mouse moving?
yeah
I think you can. So the whip attaches to this one, and it lets the AC get a distance from the camera. So whip is also one of the tools that
yeah. It's
AC needs
basically
to
like
have.
extension, like yeah.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I mean it's just like you're focusing on subject or so, and these are very handy. Hold on, can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah. So yeah. So on bigger sets, you have like a person like who's dedicated to just like full focus. Yeah, they would just sit. They would have like this monitor, small AC monitor, and they would make sure the focus is like on point.
Hmm.
Um, so full focus is like okay, you never say like oh focus this or focus that, so like the terminology is like okay, full focus on this, rack from here. Rack would be like if I'm focused right now and then you want to focus on the background, so then it goes from A to B. That's like rack.
Rack
um
focus.
and yeah, those are
There's
the
nothing like
terminologies.
shifting focus. There's nothing like
Yeah, you
shifting
don't.
focus. There's like a racking focus and pulling focus.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then we yeah So pull focus, focus pulling. That's the terminology. The second monitor, and this is the small AC would be attached, and this person is just like literally glued. Like he has to be glued and like looking on the screen and like pulling focus.
So some traits of the viewfinder can be glare free to avoid like any sun glare on the screen.
Yeah.
Second can be with peaking options. The small HD monitor you see on the screen and in the previous one, they both have nice peaking options where you get a red line across the subject you are currently focused on. Then there's digital zoom where the second AC or the focus puller can actually zoom into a certain subject and make sure the focus is very, very sharp. And then the link, the wireless link or the wired link should have low to no latency between this monitor and the camera.
Right. And I would say like, peaking kind of gives you confirmation that yes, whatever you're seeing is in focus. Cause like there's times like, like you may think like, okay, like, you're looking at a screen and you think it's in focus, but like if it's displayed on like theater or so, like, it's not in focus or, whatever.
Yep.
On a bigger display, like, it wasn't on focus. Like, so, peaking definitely like gives you confirmation, like, the whatever thing that you're looking at is in focus.
All right. So the Allen key set.
Yeah, Allen keys, usually like they help you like tighten up the cameras, or like I would say, it's just like when you're building the camera, like there's certain parts when you connect to it that require Allen key, and I wouldn't say like it's used on like other departments as much as just the AC
camera department.
Because they're building the camera. So yeah, it's definitely
and
like,
and I'll say we just need a couple of Allen keys to put something on the cheese plate of the camera. We'll talk about cheese plate. Cheese plate. Let me give a brief introduction what a cheese plate is. It's something that goes on top of the camera body. It can go on either sides or the back too, but it's a plate with many different kinds of screw holes, which can be used to mount things on top of the camera. So that's a cheese plate. Um, when you're mounting something on the cheese plate, a standard uh, hexagonal screw is used. So Allen key is a must, and it depends on what kind of equipment you're using. Because it can be metric and it can be also in inches. So that should be taken care of. There are Emma. Do you remember we were doing the car rig production workshop, and we ended up with the metric? I think they were metric or inches. I think vice versa, something like that. We had the wrong Allen keys.
Yeah, we had the wrong Allen keys. Yeah.
So it should be taken care of. I'll say a responsible AC should always have both kinds of Allen keys.
Yeah.
All right.
Like one of these things, whatever you see on the picture, have like different sets and different sizes. So I mean, this is pretty straightforward, multi-tool. It's
as Emma told you, even a producer should have a multi-tool on set.
I think everyone, even someone like walking by, like on film set, like some outsider, they need to have multi-tool.
Do you have a multi-tool? Because there are many things which can break on set, and they usually do, and they usually do break. So let's get to the next one.
Okay, so then we have like a second AC. Yeah, second ACs, they're in charge of doing the clapper, providing camera, camera assistant, assist. They assist the assistant. I want to say, okay. Yeah, so it's like, bringing the lens or so while changing. So they kind of like run and grab the lens. there are also times they're loading the film when the magazine is full. Like you're shooting film, they they're like making sure that the next load is ready, next magazine is ready to go.
Yeah.
Um, they're helping with like breaking down the camera, setting up the camera. They're working conjunctly with the AC, the first AC.
Yeah.
And they also make the T marks. Um, and sometimes like some of these like jobs, like like sometimes like you can have PA do it,
Hmm.
or second AC could have a PA that could help him or her out.
Yeah.
Um, and the tools that they need is definitely the spike tape, T marks, pens, clipboard, clapper. Um, those are the things they need.
Let's get into team ups now.
So this is the T mark. Um, it it helps like like actor know, okay, where the actor needs to be. If you frame a shot and you want to make sure that you tell the actor to, you cannot pass this certain thing or line or stuff because you're going to be out of frame or whatever it is. So you want to, it's just helps actors know where to stand and like where to like walk around.
Hmm. All right. You want to
And
move
like
on?
and like one thing like I would say is like, yeah, different colors is like different actors or so, different subjects that that you can mark.
All right.
So we have the metal T marks as well, and these are very handy too. But you know, it's just they're just, I'd still say like the tape is better than the metal ones, but you know they do sell these one too. Where you can just like literally just place it on the floor, and that's pretty
Yeah.
much it,
I
and it
mean,
does the
I think
same job.
these are better for outdoors. I'll say if you're
Yeah,
shooting
definitely.
something
Like
on the
like
road.
if it's like windy, like and whatever it is, or these are better also like if you're shooting at a place where you know they don't want any tape at a location, so you use these ones. Um, yeah, definitely. They're I would say like they come they're useful in like special places, like not all the time, but most of the time.
Somewhere where the tapes cannot be used.
Yeah.
In fields, I'll say fields, a dusty, old factory where you want to shoot.
Yeah. Or
Where,
like let's say you're shooting in desert, like you don't want to tape on the sand per se. So yeah, you would just like lay this down.
yeah. All right. So let's come to the next tool for second AC.
And so this is a clapper, slate, and there's like two different kinds. There's also one that has like the digital slate where usually I would say like the sound department has the the digital one because they want to like sync it up. But
Yeah.
yeah, these are the regular ones, and where you want to make sure that you title the film, what scene you're filming or what take you're on. Um, you want to have the director's name, who's operating the camera, is it, or who's in charge of the camera department. You want to have cinematographer's name. Um, and is it a day shoot? Is it a night shoot? And Clapper really helps the editor, like to like understand, like okay, what's going on at this point.
Ahmed, my recommendation will be I would just want to add on how the clapper board should be held. Once it's held in front of the camera, do you have a slit with you by any chance?
No, no slate.
Zavi had it. I think Zavi hasn't joined us today, but imagine this to be a clapper board, and you have all the information written on it. make sure it's covering the entire frame. Like once you bring
Yeah.
it close to the camera, it should be covering the entire frame and it should be well lit. The second AC should also have a torch or mobile's torch if there's no torch handy, and he or she should be shining the light on the slate to make sure that everything is readable and there's everything inside the, I'll say, the frame. The it's readable properly. And even before rolling the camera, the first frame of your shot should be the whole slate. So it's easy to just see the thumbnails and organize them properly.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, you wanna have like a frame filled with the, you wanna fill your frame with the clapper, just so like
Hmm.
like for the editor, so like it's easier to read. Helps.
Yeah. So the other names for clappers can be a clapper, a clapboard, a cue card, a clacker, a slate board, a slapper board, sync time, sync slate, time slate, sticks. Sticks is very commonly used. Sticks is actually very commonly used. Um,
Yeah.
and I think we have not added it in the session over here, in the presentation over here. But there can be some situations where you're very far away from the sound, whosoever is holding the boom, and he's not very close to you, and it's a very, very loud environment. Make sure you slap the top part of the slate very loud, so that it's
Yeah.
audible to everyone. And once
Yeah.
before you do that, you can say hard slate or hard sticks. That can be your shout before you actually clap it, so that
Yeah.
everyone is ready to hear the clap. You can be like hard sticks and you clap. Um,
Yeah.
and
And vice versa.
also,
Like if you're like really close to the actor, like it's a close-up
yeah,
shot, and you have to slate it, like do soft sticks, like super soft.
yeah.
Um,
And before you do it,
cause
you should say it too. Before you do it, because you're pretty close to the
yeah,
actors, and the mic is usually the actor can be mic'd up on the chest with a lapel, or it can be a boom mic. So before actually clapping, you can be like soft sticks, and then clap,
yeah,
so that the editor actually knows that, okay, I need to hear for the clap of
yeah.
the clapper.
Yeah, because I mean the cameras that are used in like they like like while filming, usually they don't have like a mic that kind of records the audio or so,
Mm.
so like audio is like being recorded separately. And like editor needs to know, okay, like when he hears the how like he's gonna sync the footage and everything to it, so it doesn't like the audio is like it's synced precise
Yeah.
to it.
So there are many names. Emma, before we move forward, we have a question from Stina about what's the difference between the roll 5 that's written on this slate and take 4. What's the difference between roll and take? Just if you want to explain what roll, scene, and then take means.
Yeah. So pretty much roll, like I would say like easier would be like, let's say like a card, like like okay, this
Yeah,
is
it can be SD
card
card 1,
one.
SD card 2, SD card 2.
Right. And scene would be like, okay, like in general, like okay, this is the scene where I walk in, so
Mm-hmm.
that's the scene. And then the take is like, okay, like how many takes up of the scene I've done. So if
Mm-hmm.
I've if the scene requires like, okay, me coming in the room, and
Yeah.
and there's like 20 takes of it,
Mm-hmm.
so it could be that.
Yeah.
um
So Stina, what do you
that's
see
a
on the
that's a
screen?
difference.
Yeah, what you see on the screen can be one of the examples where this person is actually using card number 5, or maybe a physical roll number 5. That can be a case. And the scene is scene number 2. So this is the second scene of the whole movie. And for this particular scene, it's take number 4. So they have already taken 4 takes before this, and now they are on take number 4. So I think that explains, what role, what scene, what take is. To I'll say to avoid just using numbers on the whole thing. Uh, so the roles are usually cards used like SD card. Yes, Sina, the SD cards we put in the cameras, starting from like basic consumer level, consumer cameras can be SD cards. For special cameras, they have special hard drives or special cards. So one hard drive can be named. Um, what we usually do, what the industry usually does, is not just number it, but also name it. So it can be
Okay.
A001. For example, why have I'll just give you an example. Why have they named it a 3-digit number at the very end and used A? Because there can be multiple cameras shooting the same scene at the same time. So it can be camera A, camera B, camera C. So the mag you see will be, or the SD card you see will be from camera A, and uh,
And this
and
is
it is the number of that SD card, or the hard drive is 001. So it can go up to it can go up to 999. It can go up to 999. Um, so letter is usually used before the roll. It stays the same for a very, very long time till the hard drive or the SD card fills up. So after it fills up, the role on the slate is changed. The second one can be the scene. So it is scene number 2. Usually what happens is the scene is a pretty long scene. Imagine for example, I just come into this room. I go to my water bottle, take a sip of of it, and then close it, and then come and sit down. So that can be whole scene too, but it's taken from different angles. So the different angles can be, first angle can be 2A, second can be 2B, third can be 2C, and then can be 2D. So it can be divided into different cameras. Sina is also asking, so in this case, how do you clap? If you write roll A001 on the camera and you have 2 or other cameras. See, usually, Stina, as we told you, on a bigger set, different there will be different crews for each camera. So camera A will have a camera operator, first AC and a second AC, and they'll have their own slate. For camera number B, they'll have their own slate. For C, they'll have their own slate. But if you don't have that, then usually it's mentioned roll A001, and right under there will be mentioned roll A. If it's, if they're on different cards altogether, it can be roll A005 for camera A, and it can be B001 for camera B. So that can be mentioned on the same slate, and it can be shown to 2 different cameras and clapped like that. Ahmed, I think would you like to say something regarding this, or have I covered it?
yeah. I mean, and like based on what camera you're using, if it's B camera or so, you would write it down like B001. If it's C camera, like you would write C001. Basically following the same as like camera A. And like reading the slate, like you don't usually like, okay, like maybe like the very first take you want to read it like the whole thing, but like you don't usually read
Including the name of the movie and the
including the
role,
date.
the
And then
scene, the
after
take.
that it's usually like, okay, just say like scene 2 take 4 clap,
Yeah, scene
get out
2B,
of
take 4,
nowhere.
scene 2C, take 4. Pratik wants to know about the
And
types of shots, composition, and cinematography. Pratik will be shortly coming forward to that. We are still discussing the tools and the equipment of our cinematographer. We'll be coming to the types of shots um, coming forward. But I think we'll be running out of time. And Ahmed was supposed to talk more about the tools and the equipment used in cinematography. The details of each department will be discussed by Vivian in terms of gaffing, and Ahmed will be coming back to us when we speak about grip. Me and Ahmed will be taking a session about grip also, but this is going to be just about the, the the tools and the equipment used in cinematography. The types of shot, I think Naomi will be discussing that on Monday. Ahmed, do you remember Naomi?
yeah,
Yeah, she'll be taking a session on Monday with us.
nice.
Yeah. She'll be talking about the types of shots in cinematography much more. We'll be touching on that a little bit, but she'll be talking about that. You want
I
to
wanted
add
to say,
something to Slate?
yeah, I wanted to say that you want to be really quick when you're slating because camera is rolling before you're slating. So, and you don't want to, use up or the memory on the camera, or you don't want to use up the film because that's just money right there.
Yeah.
So you want to be quick, like maybe the very first shot, just say the whole thing, but then from there on, just scene two, take four, and then just get out of the way.
Yeah.
Like just be quick about it.
One more trick, Ahmed, can be that how do you make sure that the slate is covering the entire frame of the camera? Can be, I think, I would love to show over here. Can you see, Ahmed? Can
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see the slate?
yeah,
Okay, so this that's running in between. This is the time code. It's showing the current time in also in milliseconds. So this thing is called the time code. We'll be talking more about time code in the future, in the further slides. But this is basically on an iPad, and it shows all the details which are supposed to be even on a physical slate. So you can see the name of the director and everyone else. You see the roll over here. This is A002. Emma, this was actually used on your shoot the last time.
Oh yeah,
Can you see it? Can
yeah.
you see
James
it?
Hotel.
Jane's Hotel. Jane's
Yeah,
Hotel. So Jane's Hotel was one of the films that we did. I was the grip and also the second AC. So this slate mentions the FPS we are currently shooting on.
yeah,
It also mentions the date, the current time, with the camera A. This is going to be camera A. This over here is the time code. You see, this is slate A1. So, Stina, as you were asking, we can have different slates for different camera crews. So it can be B1 for a different camera, C1 for a different one. We have roll A002. This was scene 36. Dude, we shot 36 scenes.
probably yeah.
It says 36 and take number 6. So I think this was one of the last takes we did that night. We were also below here, we have mentioned, because we had space to do that, we had mentioned Blackmagic 2.6K with the lens also. We were shooting at 50 mm. This signifies internal or
Yeah.
interior or exterior scene. This signifies day or night. And this is MOS or sync. We'll be talking about MOS now. Ahmed, you want to add to it?
Yeah, MOS is like if there's no sound, you want to mark you want to say it's MOS.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not sure what's like the full form of it. Like,
Yeah,
uh,
I think it's in the slide. There actually, you know what? MOS does not have a full form. People are just making stuff up. This is also a made up word. Stina is asking which app is this? This is DigiSlate. Uh, I'll show you the name over here. This is DigiSlate. The middle section that you see can be customized. So uh, this can be, I think once you tap on this can be a time code.
time code.
It can also go to the countdown time from when this app actually started. It can also be, what is this? It's a time again, I guess. Yeah, it's a time again. And it can be a custom text on top of it. So this is DigiSlate app for iPad and iPhone. And um, I'll show you how to slate on this. So what it actually does is, because it's on an iPad, the speakers are not loud enough as an actual slate. So what it does, it creates a beep, and this is what happens if you can hear me. And it's a free app, so it gives you ads and all that, but you can still use it.
Yeah,
I will not recommend using a Slate app on an Android phone. Why? Because there is a latency between what you see on screen and the sound that comes out of the phone. So there might be a physical error. Instead of that, what you can just do, if you don't have a slate or something like that, you can speak to the mic you're recording into, and clap with your hand, showing it to the camera loud and clear. So that can be the thing that you can do. Don't use slates on Android phones. You can use it on an iPad or an iPhone, because these have very nice synced screens with the sound. So, something to note on.
I mean, if you can get the
Okay.
hands on actual like physical slate,
Yeah, they're cheap.
thing, because you can write whatever the information you need and everything. Um, at least that's what I prefer.
Yeah. Okay. Coming up to the next slides. Ahmed, you want to give us a roundup of how to slate? What happens before we slate, and what happens after we slate?
Yeah. So you wanna. Sorry, my neighbors. Uh, so you wanna. Okay. So like when you're about to shoot, you wanna say pictures up. Like okay, our frame is set.
This
No.
is the first assistant director speaking.
Yeah. This is AD. AD usually calls out as frame set. It's like okay, yeah, it's set, and quiet on set. Then they yell out, roll sound, please. So then you're recording the sound, and then you roll camera, and
Mhm.
then camera is rolling. You wanna kind of like give the confirmation back to the AD,
Yeah, it
and
can be
wait.
camera is rolling or camera speeds.
Yeah, camera speeds, and then that's the time where you wanna be you wanna read out the slate and clap, and then you just wait for directors to tell action. So that's like pretty much how it goes um, with that. Do you want to do
Yeah,
like a little do you want me to do like a little demonstration? I don't know. Do you want
sure,
to be
sure, sure. Do for it. Do for it.
yeah.
I'll
So,
read the slate for you. I'll read the slate for you.
okay, so I'll be the first AD, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So frame set.
Who's the sound?
This is, I don't know.
Well, okay. I'll be all of the respondents for you. Okay. Start by pictures up.
Okay, pictures up.
Okay.
Quiet on set. Roll sound, please.
Sound speeds.
Roll camera.
Camera speeds.
Slate.
This is roll 2, scene 36, take 6. Mark.
Set. And then action.
And action.
Yeah.
So we usually wait for a while after the clap happens. The second AC goes away. Then the camera operator can actually confirm that the camera is set, and then the once the director sees it on his screen that everyone is clear, the set is clear. There's nobody messing out on set. The final touch-ups of the makeup department are also done, and they move out, and then happens the point of
Yeah.
action. You want to do that again? That was interesting. You know what? In scene, we don't usually write down numbers. I don't know. We might have changed this, but it can be scene 36D. Oh, you know what? We were shooting. This was from your shoot when we
Yeah.
were actually taking inserts.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
yeah. We were not naming the inserts. We were adding
Yeah.
numbers to these inserts. So what are inserts? Inserts can be just for example, I'm picking up my cup in the master shot. So that we have a master shot of me picking up the cup and slowly drinking it. But I can just have an insert shot of me holding the cup properly and then picking it up. So that can be just an insert shot or something like that. If I'm watching TV and I'm using my remote, I can just have a tight shot of just the remote and my hand. So this can be insert shot, and it can be just numbered. We don't have to write names for it. It can be
Yeah.
insert 36. It can be insert 7. So that is how it goes. You want to do that again? Let's do it much clearer right now. Okay, let's start from the very top. What happens on the first day of shoot? where the second AC actually yells out also sometimes the name of the film. Let's actually do that.
The very first scene.
Sorry?
The very first shot.
Yeah, the very first shot of the shooting that actually happens. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm gonna be the first AD.
Yeah, you are the first AD.
Yeah, first ADs they're pretty strict.
They have to.
They have to be very strict. So, all right, pictures up. Quiet on set, and they would usually like yell this, like
Quiet on set.
roll camera.
And they just don't do that once. It has to be done many times. Quiet on set, please. Quiet on
Yeah.
set. Quiet on set. I said, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and then you just roll camera. So
Roll sound, please.
no, roll sound. Sorry, roll sound.
Sound speeds.
Roll camera.
Camera speeds.
Slate.
And I come in. And now I come in. Yeah, they usually say slate if they want to, or if they don't want to.
Or yeah, it's like it's probably better like to say it.
Yeah, just to say slate because it's being recorded on the sound. So that can be a nice thing to have. But especially on bigger sets, when you have everybody who's informative of what's happening, it's usually not said to have the slate ready or whatsoever. And guys, usually what will happen if like this is one of the tricks that one of our instructors showed us. I would love to share it with all of you. For example, this is the camera I'm shooting in, and you want to make sure just by eyeballing it that you are perfectly in center of the frame and you're covering the frame. What you can do is actually look inside the glass of the camera, and you will see yourself holding the slate. So that's tip number one. You'll actually see yourself in the glass of the camera, in the glass of the lens, sorry. So you'll see yourself there. And even before that, what you want to do is start from the very bottom of the matte box or the camera lens and drag out from there and make your slate straight like that. What you want to do is come from the slate straight out. So that's what you want to do. Make sure it's visible inside the camera. Usually the first AC helps you, bring the slate in frame if it's going out of the frame, if it's not visible properly. So they usually tell you to come forward and show you the slate properly. And this is how it will be yelled the first day. It can be Jane's Hotel. This is roll A001, scene 1A, take 1, mark, and out.
And then frame set. You want to say that the frame is ready.
And we wait for the director to say action.
Director.
Only the director has to say action.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next one, actually. Let's move on to what MOS is.
Okay. So, yeah, MOS is like, you're basically like not recording a sound for this scene or so. Literally, like, you can either keep the sticks closed or you can just cover the fingers. Fingers in the clap, like, just like, I would probably say like the best one would be just, close the sticks.
Yeah, the third option can be, I personally prefer the third option where you actually have your hand between the sticks.
Yeah.
So even accidentally, you don't give a clap in between.
Yeah. And then, it's like, MOS is, it's usually marked like how, you want to make sure you mark it. So for the editor to know, like, okay, there's no sound for this.
Yeah. Okay. So MOS, basically, you're not shooting sound on set. It will be, it has many full forms, but to be honest, none of them is true.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, without sound minus optic strip. None of that is true. Nobody in the film industry actually knows what MOS means. They just use it, to be honest. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, so these are yeah, for pickup shots, like you want to label P and U. And if you're taking like series, like you wanna actually label that too.
Mhm.
But like pickup shots, like like you already explained it, like if you're drinking water and you need a pickup shot, like quick shot for a
Yeah.
glass, you do
Yeah,
that.
if the scene you have, if this, what happens if the scene you have already set it up and you have the entire thing ready, now you feel like, if the director feels like, I think I'm missing some basic information over here, what you can do is you can actually go back and do a pickup shot, like while shooting. So a pickup shot can be, okay, we left scene number 119 as it is shown over here. We left scene 12 in the midst of it. So this small clip that we are going to shoot now is going to be like a helpful boost to scene number 12. So that is what a pickup shot is. And series shot, as it says, when
Like you like a
where
quick
the
montage, I would say like there's like a series of shots, and this is just like, okay, you slate once and then you go from like, okay, I'm shooting a water bottle, I'm shooting this, da 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 da. You're jumping around.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's when I would use or I would label the series.
Yeah, it can be, series shots can be also used in stock footage when you are working on a big film set and they don't want to, and they want to shoot their own stock footage. So what you can do is just show series slate in front of the camera all each time, and you can have a nice series of shots which don't require any labeling. So it can be just a series of shots where the camera actually moves, goes to a different place. Uh, in the single take, it goes to a different place, shoots something, then it comes to a different place and it shoots something. So it can be a series shot. Let's come back to the next one. Reshoot basic. Emma, elaborate on this.
Yeah, so let's say if it's a reshoot of a certain scene, you want to label with R, you want to put it in front of the
Scene
numbers.
number. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like I don't know if I want to take the previous slide, the tail sticks, tail end.
Oh yeah,
Like
tail slate.
sometimes what they do, like or I think no. This is what you should do. It's like you put it upside down
Yeah.
and then you plate it.
um, I'll just give you an example of a situation where we actually need tail slate. It can be a case where um, the camera is at a very awkward position somewhere far away from you, and
Yeah.
at the very end, it comes back to the camera crew. Uh, for example, it's on a drone somewhere, and the drone is actually flying, and in the midst of it, the director, likes the shot and he yells action. Once the action is over, before saying cut, the director is not supposed to say cut if there's no slate during the whole entire shot. So what can happen is, uh, once the drone comes back, a slate can be shown to it, and then this is how a tail slate is usually done. For example, this is the slate. What happens is we start with an inverted position, like upside down slate. We start with this, and then we do it, uh, then we flip the slate. So we start with this, we say tail slate, and now call out a scene A00, roll A001, scene 1A, take one, mark, and then the director yells cut. So
Got it.
this is a tail slate. If we have not slated the camera before, we can slate it at the very end. For example, a drone shot, as I already told you, or the camera is like somewhere rigged up on a crane or something, where the slate cannot be seen. So the camera can be brought closer to the second AC, where the frame can be filled up. The the slate has to be reversed, and then called out, and then it has to be cut. So that's tail slate.
Feels like
We forgot to mention that.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that. So, anyways, reshoot basic as Ahmed has already told you
You
guys.
want to label it. If it's a reshoot, you label it with R.
Mhm. All
Yeah.
right. VFX.
Yeah. So you wanna, if it's just a VFX, kind of like take, you want to make sure you label on it, um, and like it just like basically kind of like Slate really helps like whoever's like working in post, like it just makes their life easier.
It's
Like
more and more information for them. Exactly.
yeah,
Makes their life easier.
yeah,
Okay. So next one is room tone.
yeah. See, like same once again, like you wanna just like label it. Um, in a lot of sets, like they don't even like kind of slate, or if it's just a room tone, like the audio sound person, like he just yells quiet
Yeah.
on set, then he would just like record the room tone.
Yeah, and also speak to the microphone itself that this is room tone of kitchen with windows closed. And then
Yeah,
he'll record the sound with his boom mics and all of the mics that were on set for, let's say the next 30 seconds or 1 minute. There can be a case where, the if the sound director wants it to happen like that, or the sound mixer wants it to happen like that, he can record with the windows closed, with the windows open, with the lights on, with the lights off, with the appliances on, with the appliances off. So he or she can have multiple tracks for the exact same room in many different scenarios. In what instance do you use the room tones in your film? So basically, Stina, a room tone, as we already told you, is a 30-second audio clip, 30 to 1 minute usually. For example,
it's
you
an
might have
ambient
a,
ambient sound that you need to have, or
yeah,
in the scene or so.
yeah.
Like it's like
Stina,
like birds chirping or so. Like if you're those kind of
yeah,
things.
exactly. As Ahmed is sitting outside, there are birds chirping, but there can be some cases where like a two-person conversation is being shot, right? And the sounds of the first take is much different from the second take. What we can do is we can just add an overlay of room tone to both of these tracks so they don't sound different, because sound is very important. As Zavi was also talking yesterday, sound is very important in a film, because even if the visuals are not crazy, the sound actually, sound is the thing which matters a lot. So a room tone should be shot, should be captured in even the lowest of the lowest budget movie or the highest of the highest budget movie, if you have sound in your film. Um,
And I want to
this
say one thing, like um, when capturing or when recording the room tone, like do not leave the room. Like like don't think like, okay, that means like, okay, I just have to exit out the room. So I would
Yeah,
just stay in there, because room, sound is whatever what you captured before. It's sound is like bouncing around, and you don't want to just like be in an empty room where like let's say like you were recording, and obviously like there's a DP and there's a whole crew like in this room, but like when there's a room tone, like don't leave, just stay there,
yeah,
just be.
yeah. Make sure everyone stays there, because uh, it might be a case where you have multiple people, and also, I mean, I've heard it from sound recorders or sound recordists that even the electricity which is running inside the wires can change the room tone or the sound. So make sure that everything that was running while you were shooting is still running at the time of taking the room tone. Don't
Yeah,
turn off like your refrigerator, or don't turn off your AC.
yeah,
If you have turned,
don't turn
sorry,
off
yeah, don't turn off your camera. Make sure the camera is on too, because there are fans in cinema cameras that usually run during the take also. And sometimes it might be a case where the sound of the fans on the camera are heard, in the sound recording. So you want to match that. You don't want to keep your film to be like, once there's one scene where you have like sounds of the cars in the background. You have one scene where you have, the sound of the AC in the background, and there's a small clip in between where you're actually cutting from one scene to the other scene where you don't have anything. It's just blank silence. There is no music. There's no room tone. So room tone actually plays a very, very important role. It captures details, as you can see on the slide. It captures details like appliances sound, the wind that was at the very moment. Everything affects the room tone, and you want to have different variations of it. Uh, as Zavi used to work as a nice sound recordist. I've worked on many sets with him. I've seen him working on many sets too. What he will actually do is make sure everyone is in the room. They stay back for even the room tone. If we have like 10 people in the room, which were actually present during the time of the shoot, also, he'll make sure that all of them stay in the room before, while we are shooting the room tone also. And he would take different variations of it. He would take one without turning off the appliances. He will take one uh, with turning off the appliances. He will take one with the windows open. He will take one with the windows closed, with the doors open, with the doors closed, with the lights on, with the lights off. So we have different variations. If you hear properly, you can actually hear the lights buzzing, because they're releasing heat and all that. Um, is it better to shoot room tone in the beginning or at the end of the shoot? It's usually done at the end of the shoot, because you can actually before taking down the set or before leaving for the day, um, everyone will be ready to spare 30 seconds of their time for a room tone. It's not a big deal. And if you want to change location, before changing the locations, a room tone can be done. uh, Make sure nobody moves on set during the room tone. um, Ahmed, we have been on sets where, if we guys are on the gaffing department or on the grip department, we were outside doing our own thing, and the room tone might have been taken during that time. But this is not how it should be done. You should have the crew, which was inside the room during the shoot, should be inside the room while you're doing the room tone. If you have some time between the shoots, you can do it. It's up to you. It's up to the sound department how comfortable they are. It's usually done at the end of a scene or a shoot.
Yeah.
So there are different room tones for different scenes. A nice sound recordist will actually name the the clips of the sound on their mixer too. They will name them as it appears on the slate. They will name them scene S12. T means take 5, take 4, like that. And they'll also mention scene 12 room tone. So it's very easy once you go into your laptop or your desktop and you see all the files together. It's very easy to, have labels on it. So we move on to the next one. I think that sums up pretty much for the room tone. Zavi will be back with us for
Yeah.
a session on sound, anyways. But I would love to give this time to Ahmed. Ahmed, we were talking about this time code sticks.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, like, time code helps sync sound, you know, especially like, like, yeah, like iPad or so, like you definitely need to like work with the time code.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just for the editor to like be able to like, not, I mean, yeah, editor definitely like,
Yeah, well,
needs
what you can do is
sound.
in every professional editing software, there is a way to sync sound. I mean, Zavi was also telling it yesterday that how to sync sound is it's very, very simple. Once you import your audio into the editing software, you get a you can actually see the waveform of your audio clip, and you'll see a nice peak
Like,
of of the
clap.
slate,
Mm-hmm.
but of the clap or of the slate. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to match the hitting of the sticks with the peak, or what you can just do is, if you have had proper time codes of your sound mixer, and it's synced to the time code on your camera, and it's also synced to the time code on your slate, everything is synced already. You don't have to sync it in post. So everything is perfectly synced with each other. It's one of the best ways to, sync sound.
Yeah.
That, yeah, that can be used too. And at the very bottom, you can see a device named as Tentacle.
Yeah.
I've personally seen it too. It's a tiny device. It's not
You
even
connect to the
bigger
camera.
than it's not even bigger than our AirPods case. It's even smaller than this, and very, very light. It can be attached to the camera, does not require additional power, and it keeps your sound mixer and your camera and the slate in sync. So they all run, and they, you know what a time code is actually? It's the current time. So it's 11:07 07, and in even in milliseconds. So this is the time code of now.
Like,
So it should be in sync. Even the milliseconds should be in sync. So that is why a device like this is used. You want to move on to the next one, Emmett?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Go on next.
Camera reports. Dope feed.
Camera reports. Yeah, very. Um, it's definitely important. Like in bigger shoots, like you need to have like a track of like, okay, what lens I used in this scene, what settings I had, or what filters even I've used on this particular scene. Definitely, like this is something that second AC, or maybe like a separate other person, like they're just keeping track of like exactly what like what camera equipment was used for this scene,
Mm-hmm.
you know or what accessories were used, there's just, or and also like what settings the camera was
Yeah.
for this scene. It keeps a record of it, and
Yeah.
it helps cinematographer, like if they have to like go back to like that scene, or they have to do a reshoot, so they can actually look in this and they'd be like, oh, okay, I've used this filters, I used a 50 millimeter lens, I used this, and they could get that exact same thing again if they have to
Mm-hmm.
reshoot. Or it's
Yeah.
for like like the for the editors, like or whoever's like doing color correction or so, they can say, okay, these are the settings, okay, of the camera, and how I can alter, or what I have to do to work with it, or how I have to edit according to these settings.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
definitely,
it's a nice document to have. It's a nice
yeah.
document to have, anyways. Um, just you wanna read out from like what all the information is given from top to bottom?
For the camera report.
Yes, sir.
So you would obviously like you wanna write down the camera roll number,
Mm-hmm.
and then you wanna have the production, um, your title, episode, just the all the whatever the information that goes on slate kind of goes over here as well. What format it is it Carry, Canon, Epic, or what camera you're using, what type of media it is it SSDs, like what is it, like a just like a regular SD cards, compact flash, or is it a film, like actual film, um, and in which case, like you also like the camera report should be written down, like, okay, how many feeds have used on
Yeah.
this scene.
Yeah.
um, then you have the frame rate, okay, like this is the frame rate, like this scene is being shot in like 24 frames, 30 frames, whatever it is. um, you want to have your shutter speed, shutter angle, ISO, like all, like these are the settings, camera settings that you need to like jot down.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the Kelvin scale, like the white balance. Okay, so like is it like 5200, or am I like going cold, like 36 or so,
Yeah.
600.
Yeah.
uh, so you want to have like a you want to write that down, um, and you don't have to like specifically like whatever this picture is. Like, it doesn't have to be like this structure. It could be whatever you feel comfortable with. Do that as long as you're getting all the information and you're organized with writing down settings and the accessories, camera accessories were used. That's what all it is.
Yeah. All right. Stina has a question about, will you be doing a Zoom about camera settings? Yes, we will be doing a session on camera settings. Ali will be doing that. She'll be telling us how camera settings are changed on the camera. What is different setting that appears on a standard cinema camera. We'll be starting with cinema cameras, and if there are other people interested in a different type of camera, we can definitely do that. But this will be specifically for a red cinema camera or maybe a RE cinema camera.
Yeah.
If you want to practice on that, go and download. Is it the RE camera app or something like that, where you
Is it
can
Red?
actually? Sorry.
Is it Red Tools?
Red Tools is one of that. Red Tools enables you to actually find out what kind of camera you're using, what will be your average bitrate. So we will be definitely talking about bitrate compression on cinema cameras in the session with Ale on this coming Monday. But this is just the technical aspects of what camera, what actually the whole cinematography team does.
Yeah, one thing like,
Next.
I would say for the camera reports, like, also like sometimes the camera reports, like let's say like, you do multiple takes and they're like not good takes, but then there's a good take. So you actually like, you wanna kind of write it down like, okay, that's a good take.
Yeah,
So,
that is why there's a comment section given on the camera report.
yeah. And
Okay.
it helps like tremendously, like when you're editing it, like, okay, the scene 3 was like the best, take 3 was the best. So,
Yeah.
and you can just like look at it in your report, you can be like, oh, okay, that's the scene I should use. And then
Yes.
you like,
Even the director, when he comes back to sit down with the editors at the very end, I mean,
yeah,
it's also good for him to actually see a camera report, because a, even on set, a director can be, okay, let's do this again. The word "let's do this again" can mean uh, if it's a okay take or it's not a good take. If there was a mistake while giving out the lines or while delivering the lines, it can be considered a not good NG or not good take. If it's a very good take and the director actually gets excited, the second ace he can write down, yeah, very, very good take in front of the scene or the take in the comments
yeah,
on the camera report. All right, Ahmed, we have already stretched out this session for 2 hours, 15 minutes. Let's actually speed up. And, we'll be having our own discussions
yeah,
shortly, but let's do this first. What's a loader?
yeah. So loader, their job, like I said, they especially like, loader comes in place when you're shooting film, actual film. um and these guys are in charge of like making sure that your magazine is fully loaded with like fresh films. And also they're also in charge of like, okay, once you shoot a roll of film, they have to like um take the film out of the canister, and they
Do you
want
have a
to
canister on you? Do you have a canister on you?
I do. I mean, do you want me to get it?
Will it take time?
Yeah, it'll
Is
probably
it?
take time. Yeah.
You should have kept it with you. Dude, I
Yeah.
left mine. I left mine in New York. I think they are with you.
I have the maybe the small one I have.
Check it out. Is it reversal? Black and white?
It's for the, yeah.
16 mm? Reversal black and white?
Yeah, man, yeah. No, I don't have it. I thought I did, but
Okay, so
no.
the case that the film comes in is called a canister.
Canister, yeah.
It can be a plastic box, it can be a metal canister.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like I was saying, loader, they're in charge of like unloading the magazines and like loading the magazines. And you know, they need to be, it's very demanding, work too. It's because when you're shooting film, the film is just, there's so much film that's being shot, and it's so
And they're
fast
expensive. And they're
and
expensive.
it's expensive. So they want to be, loaders needs to be really careful, like, exposing the film, like, and everything. They don't want to be like eating and like, unloading the film. They
Their hands should be clean. Their,
clean.
the I think Ahmed got stuck over there a little bit.
Yeah.
Ahmed, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. And they have the dark room bag where it's like, because loading and unloading, you have to do it in the dark room. You don't want to
Hmm.
expose light to the film.
But if it's an open environment, like if you're shooting in the middle of the desert and you don't have a tent or a dark room, something like that, what you can do is there's a dark room bag which has a thick cloth, a thick black cloth on all
It's
the
like double
sides.
layered cloth. Yeah.
It's like a t-shirt with the button sewn down. Yeah. So what you can do is you can put your hands through the sleeves, and you can open the zip, uh, put put your canister inside, and then zip back. Put your hands in, and then whatever you want to do with your mag. If you want to put it back in the canister, if you want to get it out of the canister into the mag, you can do that. It's a bit tricky. It's not done now because we don't shoot on films. But in digital, Emma, do you want to read that? What happens in digital for a loader?
Yeah. For the loader, they need to have like um be able to like like unload the footage in the hard drives, and like give make sure they kind of like back it up like 10 times if they
Yeah,
can.
10 times at least.
But yeah, at least like you have like a backup, and like then you want to give the card back, because once we
Yeah,
get the card, we're gonna erase it, format it.
yeah, yeah.
So
Once the camera team gets it back.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to, as a loader, you want to, and DIT, you want to make sure whatever you're unloading the footage, like it is actually like unloaded properly.
Hmm.
Because once we get the card back, we're gonna format it, and then yeah, like
There's where the DIT comes in. As you can see, he or she manages the data and organizes files. He dumps the footage and backs it up.
yeah,
DITs usually are also responsible for the image quality control. They might set up their own. They might have their own setup on set, maybe in a room, maybe in a trailer, maybe somewhere, like if you're shooting in a location, you have 5 different rooms. You can just allot one room to the camera department, in which the DITs can have their own station or their own bay, where nobody except the camera department goes, because they are dealing with sensitive information of the set, of the shoot, and also managing a lot of data altogether. So uh, you know you want to talk about how image quality control and on-set color correction works?
yeah. I mean, they're literally like like let's say you're shooting a green screen. So they want to double check, like, okay, the green screen is it's light up properly, that you can actually like like chroma it, like put on like chroma key it nicely, or so they would like roughly, or also like not even that, but it's like also they would roughly like color correct it, like to see like, okay, like if the footage still like it's good or so, like the way it's like certainly color corrected.
Hmm.
um yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would say like the main purpose DIT, like they do want to back up and organize.
Yeah.
And DIT, I would sometimes also acts like a onset editor. So like once they're finished like backing up, they might just like like put together the rough cut, or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. All right. So the tools are usually laptops, hard drives, which are
Yeah.
usually provided. the computers, the
Laptops and
laptops, and the
tons
hard
of hard drives.
tons of hard drives. If you can notice in the image on the right side, you might find some hard drive bays that are attached to the contraption that the DIT has. So on a professional set, they are dealing with terabytes and terabytes of data.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one. As you have already talked about this, you want to talk about this again?
Um. No, I think we already talked about it in detail.
Yeah, I
We
mean
can.
it's self-explanatory for
Yeah.
majority of the people.
The
So
only
next
thing that
one.
like they have the steady cam, so steady
Mhm.
camera. Um. So yeah, now we're at the lighting. So in lighting we have Gaffer. Gaffer's the chief of like lighting department. I want to say. He or she is you know like they're also like they're more technical work, like they're responsible of like okay putting up lights or like what lights are best suited for scene or so.
Mhm.
um they're in charge of like the what's it called, the color temperature of the light, and how strong or like how soft the light needs to be. um that's the Gaffer. And then we have the best boys. They help out um, gaffers, you know, with like getting things done. Also, like they work parallel with the grip department.
Mhm.
Um, so they help out um, the gaffing team and the grip team. Um, it's basically kind of like like ACs.
Yeah,
Like if you had to like compare
ACs to the camera department.
ACs to the camera department. Then we have like the electricians. They want to make sure okay the wattage we're getting, it's this light, these lights can handle this kind of like voltage and everything. They want to, as an electrician, you want to make sure you're not consuming too much power where it's kind of like unsafe for the lights to run on. So everything needs to be like balanced and everything. If
Mhm.
and they're also like in charge of like if you're shooting outdoor, so you need generators or so they go in that. And
I'll say on a responsible set, there'll be always people asking electricians if they can plug their phones to charge on a responsible set because they don't want to mess up with any electricity that's moving around, right?
yeah, like
Even
yeah
plugging, even
you
the
don't want
smallest
to,
thing can mess up big time.
yeah, you don't want to plug your phone just because you see an outlet. Like you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you ask the electrician um if there's something that he can do. I mean, he or she can do. I mean, honestly, like if you have to charge your phone, bring your own battery.
Yeah,
Pack. Like don't bother electrician to like
they have
because you
bigger jobs to do.
yeah. So, but if you're a director or so, like, and you need to charge your phone,
Yeah.
um, then
Um, yeah.
then we have light technicians. Light technicians, like they they know how the light works. They if you need to like change something or like open them up and like modify them on they
Bulbs,
will do
changing
it.
bulbs and all that.
Changing bulbs, repair everything. And then we have the dimmer tech. Dimmer tech is like basically they have control on like how much light or they have the dimmers, and how powerful you want this certain light to be, how sensitive
This is majorly for an indoor set where you have all the lights
control lighting. Yeah,
rigged up. It can be on a control lighting set where you have like 100 different lights controlled by a DMX pad. So DMX pad is usually it looks like a soundboard. If you guys have seen a soundboard, Emma, you know what a soundboard is,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
usually a studio sized big board where you can control tracks. Similarly, a DMX is a big board to control each light. Uh, But nowadays, I mean, you might have seen DMXs in concerts, for example. You know, they can move the lights however they want to be.
Yeah, and like they can dim up, dim down the
Dim up,
light.
dim down, change the colors. If they're LEDs, they can change the colors of all of them together.
Yeah,
You know, if they want to create a certain kind of scene, if they want to create lightning, for example, they might have lights rigged up, controlled with DMX, and they might just create a preset for lightning.
yeah.
And just one button can enable lightning for you.
hmm Yeah, and then we have the fixture technician. These guys are, usually working with practical lights. So if there's something like, needs to be done with the practicals, um, they're kind of come in and they do their job. Um, I would say like like in smaller shoots, like we usually if you won't even have like a practical technician. It's probably like whoever's the either the best boy for the gaffer or so, like taking care of it, or even gaffer himself, like or themselves, like they're taking care of it.
Yeah.
um then we have the rigging gaffers, rigging best boy. So these guys, they whatever it is, like where wherever you want to place a light or so, or they need to come up with a way how to like rig it.
Yeah.
That's Yeah. And then we have the generator operators. The generator operators, they know how to work with the generators. You know, they know what's the best, how to distribute the electricity to on set. Like, and they're working with electricians as well. Um, then we have the console programmer. Console programmer is probably the person who who kind of sets up the. I think I want to say like
Yeah, the DMX tech and console
console.
programmers
Yeah,
are
they go
pretty much the
together.
same. Yeah, they go together. So DMX is something related to, it's a bit high tech. It can be presets. It can also be, these new lighting systems that are coming up with, phone apps, which can be controlled. You can control the whole set, every light on set with your phone. So that dimmer tech usually goes for it, but a console programmer can be, if there are a series of events that happen with certain kinds of light, so a mood can be set up. Lightning being the example, lightning and police sirens flashing, gun flares. All of that can be set up by console programmers. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's move on.
So then we have the grip department. Key grip is, the head honcho of grip department. Like, he's he's the he's the boss, you want to say,
Mm-hmm.
he or she. Then we have the best boy. Best boy, same thing, like assisting whoever, assisting the key grip. And then we have the you know dolly grips. Yeah, different. We have the dolly grips, crane grips, car rigs, grip, and just rigging grips. These are people like they have like a certain tools or a certain um,
Skill.
skill set. Like with maybe it's operating the jib, maybe it's rigging the car rig, um, and so those these people, they're very, I want to say, um, skilled in whatever these things are.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to move the jib from like 10 feet to like you want to come down. They know exactly how it's done or how much weight, because you have to put the weight on the end, so they know exactly like how much weight it needs to be, like so they can smoothly like do the shot.
Yeah.
um and then I want to say, I forgot. Oh, the gang boss. Yeah, so gang boss are people who, if there's something like special construction that needs to be built, so that's team actually, like that they get together, they will build that certain thing like very special for that particular scene or so.
Yeah.
uh, and then we have the day players. They're just kind of like kind of like a substitutes.
One day grip. Yeah,
One
substitutes to the grips.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day grips. Yeah, if there's something heavy that needs to be lifted, or day players are usually when trucks are loaded in and out from rental house. Day
Yeah.
players are usually used when you have empty trucks going into the rental house to be loaded up. So day players are used. All right. Let's move on to the next one.
And then this is art department, and like I said before, cinematography department or camera departments, they're not everyone's like working with art department. It's mainly the DP himself or herself, like, and maybe gaffer for the technical
Mhm.
part of it. But yeah, like art department, we have production designer, making sure, just it's basically like, I want to say, the head of the department. Um, and then we have the set decorator. Set decorator, they know, um, if the scene is certain move, they want to set the room that kind of like embarks that emotion. You know, um, art director. Art director is kind of taking.
Yeah, it gives the art directors I've usually seen that they research much more on,
Yeah,
it might be, the color palette. It might be what types of costumes are the costume designer designing, and according to that, we can, put up that same thing, inculcate that same thing into the art side of things. So that
yeah,
can be so, art directors are majorly responsible for researching more and more. If you want to make a
researching about
film
it.
if you want to make a film which is dated in 1880s, so the art directors will actually step up and research about what would have been the props of 1880,
Yeah,
or so on and so forth.
yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely, like, you wanna be true to whatever, the year that you're showing in your film.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, then we have prop master. Prop masters, they would make, like, they would make props. They build props. Very specific props. Like, if, like, yeah, like you said, like, if the movie's about like some like medieval times,
Yeah.
it's like they're in charge of, like, okay, these custom.
For example, if you are prop master, also deals with the additional made props that come on set, especially guns. If you're using guns in your movie, the master team will be the ones who are responsible for handling those guns and making sure that nobody, in the public actually sees those guns. So they make sure they go out to, like, if you're shooting in a house, for example, and you want to show a gun in your scene, and you you want to avoid the police coming to your location. So what they will do is they'll inform all of the people around the house you're shooting at to stay safe, and inform that we have a gun on set, and they'll make sure they put out a nice signboard which says
Yeah,
there's a prop gun on set outside the set itself, wherever the set can be seen from. Same is the case with dealing with those guns. Whenever you're not shooting with a prop gun, they'll take the prop gun from the actor and put it in a special case, which it's a special case for the props. And on the case, it mentions clearly that there is a prop gun inside this case. It's not a real gun. So, if there so happens to be police arriving on set, they should not get confused with the use of prop guns. There are different licenses for different countries. We will not go into details about that because, it's going to be pretty lengthy. You want to move on, Emmett? Because, we have been speaking for 2.5 hours now.
yeah. I mean, and this is we're just touching
A
basics.
lot of people
Like,
actually left, but I think they left because we are starting to get some views on the YouTube channel. So I think people are going up to our YouTube channel and actually seeing the previous videos. And same is the case with this one. Maybe they'll watch it again when they want to. Yeah. But we started with almost 16 to 20 people this evening, but we are left with a handful of them. Thank you so much for staying, guys. If you want, we can have just an open session where you can ask any question you want to. Just start dropping some questions for us to ask us in the comment section or in the chat box. We'll be so happy to answer them for you. But we'll be ending with this slide over here.
Yes. So we talked about the prop masters, costume designers. They're in charge of all the wardrobe and everything. Yeah, like for all these departments, they're all like researched heavily, and because you want to be authentic in your film. You don't want to fake it, or you want to make it look like it's actually there. This is the world that exists.
Yeah.
So they're all like researched a lot.
Yeah.
Then we have location manager. These guys are in charge of just like finding location scouting. Just finding the location, talking with the location owners, and like dealing with the location owners. Like location managers are like they are in charge of that. And then there is like a team of set construction where these guys, they will build sets, like they will put up walls, or if anything, whatever it is, whatever the scene requires, or it needs, like if it needs a bridge over the water, like they're gonna build a bridge. And I wanted to say one, I forgot, but yeah, let's just move on.
Okay.
I can put so much more. Okay. Pre-production for cinematographers. Yeah. So obviously, read the script. You don't want to be the the cinematographer that doesn't know
the dumb cinematographer who shows up with no idea of the story.
Yeah. Also, like definitely like be present at the table reads. Yeah, most important, location scout. Like you want to know the place that you're going to be filming. You want to know every single thing about it. Like, okay, you want to also, like, when you location scout, like you want to know, okay, where does the sun rise and where does the sun set?
Exactly.
You want to have that information.
Weather also is a big thing during location scout.
Yeah. Definitely, like have some kind of like conversations with actors or so. Like I don't be like, I'm not saying be a best friends, but actually be like just like, if you have to, like respectfully, like tell them what to do, like that you can. Knowing what gear to use, like having that equipment list, or making like pre-production, like you're making list with the gaffer, or key grip, just coming up with the plan, like and for the bigger shoots, I'm pretty sure they're probably like making lists for like each shot, and like what they'll probably have like a shot like for each scene. Okay, these are the equipment that we need. This is the grip equipment we need. This is the gaffer equipment we need. They're probably doing that for every scene. For like the small films, like we have done is we've made a general list, like equipment list that we need, that we're pretty certain that we're gonna use at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's usually up to that general list that the equipment is used basically, and and the general list is pretty useful, I'll say, for a short film, because you don't want to go too big on on production. You want to use just the basic lighting. You want to use basic creativity, and how much you can in a short budget.
And
Yeah,
I mean, also like you don't want to just because like you have a budget of 1 million, you don't want to go and like use that million on equipment.
yeah.
You wanna
You
be
can use that million on location. You can use that million on art direction, the
yeah
best art direction that you can possibly imagine. Great actors, I'll say.
yeah like I mean because like it's not just about the equipment because like a lot of like what happens is like you become or you're a beginner cinematographer and then you know you, you invest on so much equipment but it's like maybe if you like equipment's not going to get you so much maybe what if like whatever shoot you do maybe you chip in some of your whatever money that you have for like a PD or so like a better
Yeah,
production design because you wanna be like you wanna it's your footage so you wanna make it like nice and presentable.
exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
where was I? Okay, yeah, and then you wanna gaffers. I mean, it's important. Like I would say gaffers also read the script just so they can get an idea of like okay what exactly is going on. But it's not mandatory. I wouldn't say that. As long as
Hmm.
there's like a open dialogue between cinematographer and gaffer about it. Then we have camera tests. Camera tests are very important. You want to do camera test with actors, I would say. Like like you want to. Okay, so one is the technical test, so where you're checking the lenses, like and everything.
Checking the sensor, checking the lenses. If there's a burn in some pixels,
Yeah,
you're checking
you
for
want to check
that
the
in your camera
cameras that
test.
you're using, because like okay, so everything is running smoothly.
Yeah, the
And,
connections between the power supply and
yep,
the screen, the mags are working properly. You stress test some of the mags. Sometimes there are some cameras where you can actually test mags if they're working properly. You need to format everything that's on it. Usually, a code of conduct can be that you should reset your camera every time you start to shoot. You should reset your camera. um, that
and I was
that that is usually we used to do. That is what usually we used to do. We used to reset our cameras every single day to avoid any differences, because cinema cameras especially, are very, very sensitive to
mm,
temperatures. So there are modes where you can actually calibrate the camera. For example, if you are inside a car, with the AC turned on, and you reach a location, you have the camera and everything ready, but when you reach the location, what ends up happening is that there's fogging in front of the lens, and you don't know, but there's fogging in front of the sensor inside the camera body also. So what you want to do is leave the camera outside, like leave the camera in the environment you're now going to shoot for about 10 minutes or so, till everyone gets ready to shoot. The actors are coming in and all that. Then you want to calibrate the camera according to this new temperature that you are in, to avoid any artifacts on the screen or something like that. So you should definitely perform camera test.
yeah.
Ahmed, I'm so sorry to say, but we are 2 hours and 45 minutes into the conversation. So let's make it quick. It's getting pretty late in India right now. You guys have just started your day, but
Yeah.
still.
Um, yeah. So definitely do technical test, camera test. Also do like the look test. So have your actors dress up, whatever they role, and see like how they look in the camera.
Yeah,
What kind of like lens like actually like um makes them fit very perfectly like
yeah.
uh what lens
It
like
can be a situation where you have a very thin actor or very thick actor, and
yeah and what
you
looks
need
good on them.
you need to have a certain camera lens to fit those actors properly so that they appear good on screen. That can be a case. Stina is asking how to sync two cameras to one scene. I'm sorry, I cannot read your comment for that. Yeah, one same scene. So Stina, as we have already discussed, syncing can be done with the small time code devices, which maintains same time codes in every device. Second can be that you have you slate the cameras properly. So what you can do is, if you have just one slate, just one second AC on set, what you can do is, once you roll the sound and the sound starts to roll, you can clap in in front of the in front of camera A first, then you can go up to camera B and shout, "This is second clap, camera B," and clap. So it gets recorded in the sound. There are two claps now in the sound, but uh, one happened in front of the camera A, one happened in front of camera B. Now the editor, when he comes down to edit, what he can do is he'll be able to see two nice spikes inside. Uh, oh, sorry, Sina, you are asking to have the same look in terms of picture, not
Oh,
audio. Okay, okay.
yeah, you
From
wanna
my
have like settings like on both cameras to
yeah.
be matching each other. Um,
First of all, they should be of the same brand. If possible, they should be, up to the same mark. Uh, for example, if you are shooting a scene with three different cameras all together, it cannot be, you should avoid using two different types of camera. Like one is a Sony sensor, one is a Red Dragon cinema camera. Don't do that. Never do that, please, because they will look completely different. If you have different lenses, try not to do that. Try having two lens sets or three lens sets. Um, if you can match the settings, make sure you match the settings. And it's a little bit tricky because, even for the gaffer to light up for two different camera angles, it's a little difficult because, now the gaffer has to see both of these cameras and make sure that, either of any one of his lights do not show up inside the camera. The light stands, or the wires or the bulbs themselves don't show up in the camera. So
yeah,
it's it's not too challenging, but it's I'd say one and a half times more uh, difficult for the gaffer to actually light up for two different scenes. So
yeah,
that is how you can match the two shots together. Um, Many different things can be done. Some things can be done in post also.
yeah.
Ahmed,
So,
let's make it a little quick. I
so
don't want to do this for more than 3 hours. I'm sorry.
okay. How much time I have?
Like 10 minutes.
10 minutes. All right, we got this. Yeah, knowing, of course, like when you're location scouting, know the environment, everything. You want to create shot list. Um,
Very important.
yeah, and
So, I mean, shortlist, I'll say, is, your mental visual thinking. You're already thinking inside your head that, okay, I need a close up of that actor from this distance. It should be a medium close up. I'm sorry, it's a medium close up of that actor from this distance using this lens, for example, a 85 mm. And then what you can do is put in a reference image or image from your storyboard. We were discussing about storyboard yesterday. Stina is also asking, would be good if you can do a short Zoom session in shortlist, in terms of shortlist. Definitely, we'll be talking about that with. What are we talking about that with? We'll be talking about that with Manish, I guess. Manish's session is going to be this coming Friday. Yes, we have sessions booked, scheduled till the next Tuesday. They all are scheduled. We'll have many people coming in from different backgrounds. Ahmed, back to you. Sorry.
so the last I would mention is have like references, like make create yourself a lookbook
Yeah.
basically. Um, have like, whatever other films that you've seen that you want to kind of like replicate or so, or, just be like, whatever that scene like motivates you,
Yeah.
or, songs or whatever it is, have that, with
Hmm.
you. There's obviously like there's a lot more in pre-production. I mean, this is just very basics. Um, yeah, maybe we should have like a one session of pre-production, like
Yeah,
that
pre-production for a
would,
cinematographer is
yeah.
very difficult. Pratik Suknani is asking you that, Ahmed, your take on film school or no film school if you are up into cinematography. Dude, he went to film school. He was with me in the class, but still, Ahmed, how was your experience in film school before we jump onto this topic that is on the screen right now?
I think like for for me, it helped me a lot because well, first thing, like, I didn't go to film school to be a director, or like, it wasn't that. I had a very specific goal. I was like, okay, I need to be a cinematographer. That's what I want to be. And being a cinematographer, it's, if you don't have it's, it's important. I'm a very hands-on learner. Like, I can't just learn through the books. Like, I need to like work with it. So like film school was, it was good for me. It gave me chance to work with like actual equipment and like learn.
Yeah.
uh, so for me I would say like it helped, but that doesn't mean like, people have not made, or have not, you know they can just do it like online, or like, they work as a PA and they don't
Yeah.
have to.
I mean, just by experience also.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it depends on your goal. I mean, if you think that you lack somewhere in your learning and you need a hands-on session, the best way to do it is in a film school. Uh, just by gaining experience, also you can learn a lot. But you know, as Ahmed said, if you want to go to film school, learning cinematography in a film school is actually, I'll say, one of the best experiences ever,
yeah,
because you get hands on with the equipment, and it stays with you for a very very long time. If you're given
yeah,
a red epic or a red dragon, and you get to take it out for your own shoot.
yeah.
You
And
get to take it
obviously,
out
like,
for your own shoot.
for me, like, it was very beneficial because I didn't have the money for, to like even rent out like these like lens like cameras or so, like, they're just so expensive. So, for me to like, school to actually like provide me, with this like equipment and like learn on it, so that was very helpful.
What film school actually gives you is that it gives you a hands-on on $1 million equipment package, uh, in front of you.
Yeah,
I think it's worth a couple of thousands of dollars, right?
yeah, definitely, I would say.
Yeah, all these cameras all together. There were some times where we actually used to take out two different cameras at the
Hmm.
same time, at least three lens packages at the same time, you know, and it all used to be with us. We can like play with it for the whole day. There are some clips of ours. I was looking through Emmett where we have actually shot vlogs on cinema cameras for some
Yeah,
reason. I don't know why, but it was just us playing around and experiencing that camera in our own hand and getting comfortable with it, as
yeah,
we were just shooting random vlogs inside a house, right, with a red epic or with a red dragon.
yeah,
So it gives you that confidence of playing with the camera and making it your own tool. Emma, let's get to these topics over here.
yeah. So things to do as a DP. So, you know know that you're the team leader. Um so and that means like, and I'm not saying that know that you're team leader to have your like ego like, up here, but to be like, to know that, okay, like if there's something wrong, like, okay, be patient, like, like, and figure out what's how to solve it. Like, don't freak out or anything, like, keep calm about it. um Respect all the departments, whoever working under you. um okay, so the second thing I would say, the director respects your creative. Yeah, so Um, definitely, like, like when you're working, like, it needs to be, you and director needs to work together. Um, and be, if you think like there's a certain shot that's better this way, like, talk to him. Like, don't work against each other. It's
Hmm.
um definitely, like, I think, like, I want to say cinematographer should be probably the first one on set.
Yeah,
Like, um before everyone comes in, like, cinematographer just needs to be there.
yeah,
Because there's so much stuff, like, and because, like, as soon as other departments come in, like, you need to start working anyway, so just be there on time. um have like a communication with actors, like, let's say, like, if you want the actor to move, like, it's better for, like, them to turn certain way or so, like, tell them. um so you wanna respect that as well. Respectfully say that, or talk to them.
hmm,
um yeah, and, like, prepare for the worst situation, because, like, no set is perfect. There's always something that goes wrong. um and you don't want to freak out, and you want to be prepared for everything as much as possible. That's why, like, pre-production is so important.
yeah.
Then bring the creativity, shot, composing, movement. Yeah, I mean, it's, then you just, these all these things, like, you want to make sure that there's no time to be creative when you're actually shooting. The
Yeah.
time that you're creative is in pre-production. So you can't be on set like, oh, okay, let me try. No, because time is money. So you want to
Yeah.
be, whatever the creative, like, shots that you want to do or try or whatever it is, like, plan it
I think
out.
this point also appears in the next slide. Things not to do as a DOP. The
Yeah,
point you're talking about right now.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, because, like, when you're on set as a cinematographer, you just want to stick to the whatever plan that you had, that you came up with, and you would just want to execute it.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely, like, um yeah, personally, as me, like, I mean, I wanna put the creativity, like, up on top, than just, like,
Expensive gear.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's move to the next one.
Yeah, no, yeah, never never say never ever say, we can fix it in post. It's okay, don't,
Yeah.
like, let's not get it right now. No, we can
Let's
get the
move.
shot.
Yeah, yeah. Let's move to the next one. Don't say that. Don't say that. Unless you're satisfied, unless the director is satisfied,
Yeah,
uh, you have the liberty of doing the take again, and the actors are ready for it. Do it again. Don't say that we'll fix it in post.
yeah,
Don't say that.
definitely, like, don't argue around, don't be that guy or that
Hmm.
girl. um Maintain your, whatever it is, maintain your emotions, or
Emotions.
yeah, because, I mean, sets, they can get very hectic, at times,
Yeah, the
so
second point, the second point also is very important, that the gaffer and grip team never talks to the director or the actors directly. It is
yeah,
always through the DOP.
yeah,
So you come out as a team leader to put out a point. Like if the gaffer comes up to you and he's like, okay, we cannot actually move this big light inside. So, whatever we have to deal with it. So he comes up to the DOP and asks him to tell the director to actually move the actor, 2 steps towards the right or 2 steps towards the left, wherever he wants to, whenever he sees it fit.
yeah. Like, you don't want to disturb director, because director's already, he has so much on his plate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if whatever the technical stuff is, like, anything, like, go to the
Hmm.
cinematographer, you know
Hmm.
and like talk to them.
Yeah.
And I said previously, like don't do experiments on set.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of money is on the line, like usually, and time is money.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, never jump aggressively between lenses, or unless it's like it's the style, like that you and director are doing, like thinking of, like or so,
Yeah.
like you guys talked about it. But personally, like I wouldn't like jump like from like lenses like that. Um, yeah, don't burn production money in expensive gear.
Yeah.
Use that money in other departments.
All right. I think that covers up pretty much what we needed to talk about.
All right. Yeah, I mean, for me, kind of like went by fast. So, but I know for people like, um, yeah, but yeah, maybe if we could
Ahmed,
shorten,
it is daytime for you.
it is, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we should end the session over here today. I'm sorry, guys. It went pretty long. People actually started to leave by the first hour, and some of
Yeah,
you stayed back. Thank you so much for staying back. If you have some questions,
yeah,
drop down in the chat below. If you want to unmute your microphones, if you can do that, feel free to do that and ask Ahmed any question if you want to.
yeah. Big
Um,
big thanks to remaining four that we have.
we had Rohan
Yeah,
Khanna for a while. I think he went offline. Uh, there are some people who actually come up on the Zoom calls every day and usually learn a lot, and they're interested in asking questions and so on and so forth. But uh, it's Saturday,
yeah,
and I don't know what these people are doing on Saturday in quarantine. I don't know, but still, thank you so much, everyone, for staying back. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
yeah.
I'm at the talk us through what else do you, if there's something else inside this topic of covering, you know, as a cinematographer, the basics of cinematography. Anything
Yeah.
else you want to add?
I feel like we've talked a lot. We've discussed.
Especially the details. We've covered
Yeah.
a lot of
And
details.
if there's like something like very specific that you didn't know or so, you can drop a message, whatever it is,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, definitely.
Instagram, whatever,
Go follow
whatever.
Ahmed on Instagram. I'll share his Instagram link right now in the chat box below. Go check him out, and we'll be having Ahmed. If you can please join us in the next upcoming sessions. I know it is Sunday for you guys tomorrow, and you might go out to get some groceries, some shopping. That can be a case, but anyways, do join us this next week. That's coming up. We'll be having sessions with people from all around the world. Definitely, we'll have Ale from Mexico. She'll be joining in. She'll be telling about the roles of AC, what to do, what not to do as a AC, what are the creative decisions that a AC needs to make. Even being an assistant camera on set is not
Yeah,
an easy job. It's very tedious. I've been on some sets where, as a gaffer or as a grip, we get long sessions of just setting up the lighting or the grip and just settling down. But the AC needs to be with the camera all the time.
yeah,
So there are situations where I've
yeah.
seen additional
We
ACs.
have a session tomorrow.
Sorry, we have a session with Jabarjung Singh tomorrow about wedding filmmaking and photography, wedding cinematography and photography. We are going a little off topic for one day, and we'll be discussing wedding film photography and cinematography
Yeah,
tomorrow. So everyone who is interested in wedding cinematography, I think a lot of people will be joining in because they are all waiting for a session like this, because most of them, in India, I'll say that most of them who start with photography or cinematography usually start with weddings first. So
yeah,
they will definitely learn from Jabarjung Singh.
definitely.
I'll also be sharing. I'll also be sharing the post and the Zoom links for that very soon. That will be arriving your way. But let me share. Go follow Ahmed on Instagram. I have posted a link in the chat box. Go follow him. He has a very, very different style of filmmaking, a very trippy style. I personally enjoyed working with him. The last shoot we did was at his house, his own thesis film that he actually did very late after graduating from the New York Film Academy. But very interesting shoot, very interesting concept. Ahmed, tell us about the last shoot that you did.
The last shoot, yeah, I'm still editing it. It's just been a while, like working on it.
Mm.
But yeah, we shot like how many? Like 3 days, four
Yeah,
days,
at least
three
3 days,
nights, 3 nights.
3 nights. Yes, it was
Yeah,
all a night shoot.
night shoot.
But
Um,
we were talking about props. We were talking about art department. Over in your house, you yourself were the head of the art department.
yeah,
What was the decision of like collecting a lot of empty water bottles? Like,
yeah,
guys, if you go to Ahmed's Instagram, you'll find a photo where a person is actually sleeping in like hundreds, not thousands of water bottles.
yeah.
I think it's not on your Instagram. It might be somewhere else.
No,
But
but I can definitely like next time, like whenever I am here, I can show
yeah,
it.
we'll be having an open session for like discussion of your own movies.
Yeah,
Um, I think it's on the next Sunday, not this one. It's on the next Sunday where we'll start early and end late
yeah,
on and we'll be discussing about, yeah, it's going to be an open discussion of all the cinematographers that have all the filmmakers and the cinematographers that have talked till now about their own self-funded projects or movies.
yeah, yeah. Definitely.
So we'll be there.
I'll prepare something for that too. Yeah.
Sure. Definitely. Guys, any other question that you have, you can type it down. I'm going to stop the screen sharing right now. And thank you so much, Ahmed, for being with us. It was a very detailed topic. I hope
Thank you
that,
for these guys
well,
to bear with me.
yeah, thank you, thank you to these guys for staying back with us. Um, I know people are watching us on YouTube, and they'll request even after a few minutes. I definitely know. I think Zavi will be the first one who messages me about the link for today because he likes to listen to this thing as a podcast. He just plugs in a earphone and does his own thing around the house. He's like cooking or doing something else, and he listens to listens to this session as a podcast. That's our that's a pretty great thing to do. Thank you so much, Manisha. Thank you so much for the appreciation. We'll be back tomorrow with a session of a little off topic with Jabarjung Singh about wedding filmmaking and wedding cinematography. He is also from New York. Ahmed used to stay in New York. Even for the last year, he was in New York with us, but
Yeah.
he usually went back and forth from Baltimore to New York. So definitely we'll be having more guests from the East Coast area and some from outside the East Coast, definitely. So please join us tomorrow, same time from 9. We'll be keeping that session a little short because we have to. I already had a conversation with Jabarjan Singh about keeping the session a little shorter than usual, and definitely hoping for Ahmed, please join us tomorrow. Please join us in all the remaining sessions. And do every one of you who is listening to this on YouTube or is listening to this now, please join us on the session on Sunday where you can bring in your own films or your own videos or whatever you have made or your own photography, and I'll give you the permissions to share your screen, and during the call we'll be discussing about it's going to be an open critique night. Ahmed, before we leave, give us a movie recommendation you're watching nowadays and you liked it.
So I rewatched movie what was it called? Hold on a second.
Tell us
Killing of
something which is actually available on the internet, which is easily available, like on Netflix or on Prime.
Oh, very interesting movie. Watch Climax. It's on
Climax.
it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very different type of movie you don't really get to see, but um yeah, I don't want to say so much because it's like it's I don't want to spoil it, but
Let
definitely
it
watch
be a
it.
climax. Okay.
Yeah,
My recommendation for today will be go watch Into the Night. It's made in French. Nice concept. Something fresh that I got to see after a very, very long time. I'm pretty interested in these kinds of natural calamities, natural disaster movies. I don't know. I have a dark a dark background or something like that, but I'm very, very into these dark movies. Uh,
yeah,
very well shot, very well executed. Um, a little, a little bad on VFX, but anyways, little bad on acting too, I'll say. But anyways, the concept of the whole movie was pretty good,
yeah,
and pretty nice concept. So go watch Climax on Netflix and also watch Into the Night. Uh, the beauty about Into the Night, I'll say, is to binge watch the entire thing. Don't stop, just binge watch the entire thing. If you stop and you think about like I watched 2 episodes today and I'll be rejoining to watch 2 episodes tomorrow, please don't do that. You lose the feel of being in the moment. It's all it the series beautifully takes you in the moment. uh, you being a part of these people who are stranded. So do watch Into the Night and Climax. So Prateek says, thank you guys for amazing technical session. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back with you tomorrow, same time, 9 p.m. in India and 11:30 on the East Coast of the United States. Thank you so much, Ahmed, for joining us. Do join us tomorrow. We'll be back with another session of Cinelogy. Thank you so much and have a good one. Thank you, Ahmed.
bye guys. Thank you.